Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel Learn with Yes. Today I'm going to discuss the second part of the June month current affairs, starting with security, illegal migration and internal security. There is a violence between Kuki tribe of Manipur and Meitei tribe of Manipur. So, what's the issue is Kukis. If you observe here, the uh, Kukis stay on the hills and whereas Meitei stays in the valleys in Manipur, and the Kuki tribes are demanding for ST status, which is favored by the Manipur state government. So this violence between the Kukis and Meiteis is going on since 10 years for demanding the scheduled tribe tag, ST tag. And first of all, let us look into the process of inclusion or exclusion into the ST list. First, the state government, under its discretion, recommends to the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and then the Ministry of Tribal Affairs sends to the Registrar General of India, and then the proposal of Registrar General of India is sent to the NCST, National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, and then the Cabinet has to amend this order of 1950, and then the final decision rests with the President, who uh, who who specifies the changes under the powers vested according to Article 341 and 342. And what are the okay? There are different issues going on in the Northeast state. First one is the refugees belonging to the Kuki-Chinzo ethnic community, Lai, Tidim Zomi, Lusei, and Huango tribes. So these tribes are refugees, but they are related communities of those present in Manipur and Mizoram. So such illegal migration from Myanmar, because in Myanmar coup is going on, so that's why the refugees migrate from Myanmar to India. So this is considered as an internal security threat to India. And okay, these all are related to the illegal immigration issues. And laws present to tackle the illegal immigration in India are Foreigners Act of 1946 and Passport Entry to India Act 1920 and the Citizenship Act of 1955. And second one is private military company. Recently, the Wagner Group of Russia has released some. Sorry, there was a rebellion by Wagner Group of Russia. It is a private military company. So what is this private military company? Private military company are they operate independently of the government military forces. The government have some military forces, and these private military companies work independently, irrespective of the government's military forces. So these private military forces are hired by the governments and some other corporations and international organizations, or even an individual can also hire members of the private military company. So let us look into the different private military companies present across different countries. Blackwater PMC is present in Iraq, and Executive Outcomes is a South African PMC, and Sandline International is a British PMC. So uh, these are the different if you want to know everything in detail, then you can just read through this. But these are not much important for the prelims perspective. And uh, next, news in shorts. CIPRI Yearbook of 2023. This CIPRI Stockholm International Peace Research Institute releases annually assessment of the state armaments, disarmament, and international security related data. So, according to the findings, USA has the largest number of deployed nuclear warheads, whereas Russia has the highest total inventory of the nuclear warheads, and India, China, Pakistan, and North Korea and Israel have not deployed nuclear warheads so far. So, you may have the doubt whether North Korea, Israel have deployed or not. But these countries have not yet deployed. Only US has the largest number of deployed, and Russia largest number of inventory, and these countries have not yet deployed any nuclear warheads. And in India there is a total 164 nuclear warhead stockpile. And overall, at global level, there is a decline in the number of nuclear warheads due to Russia and USA dismantling the uh, retired warheads. Retired warheads means after the lifetime of warhead is completed, they are not deploying more. So that's why the number of nuclear warheads deployed are declining. And next one is Agni Prime or Agni. Agni Prime is a ballistic missile which was developed by the DRDO, and it is a two-stage with two-stage solid propellant ballistic missile and with a range of 1000 to 2000 kilometers, and it is lighter than the earlier Agni series. And the earlier Agni 1 is a surface-to-surface ballistic missile which was developed by DRDO. And that's it. So you just need to remember a few things. In some exams, mostly not asked in UPSC, CSE prelims, but in other exams like CAPF or other exams, they ask whether it is surface to surface or what is the range, and whether it is two stage and solid or liquid fuel, all those things. And it is also developed by DRDO. Next, Romeo, MH-60R Romeo helicopter. MH-60 Romeo helicopter was uh, was manufactured by Lockheed Martin Corporation, and it is an all-weather helicopter. And recently, this helicopter was successfully landed on the INS Vikrant aircraft carrier, which this INS Vikrant aircraft carrier is an indigenously built one. Next, Varunastra. Varunastra was successfully test-fired by the Indian Navy. It is an indigenously designed anti-submarine torpedo which is launched from ship, and it was developed by the NSTL and DRDO, and it is manufactured by Bharat Dynamics Limited. And Tapas UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle means drones. Tapas UAV, it was designed by the DADE, Aeronautical Development Establishment, and it is a medium altitude, long endurance UAV. And recently, the Indian Navy and DRDO has successfully uh, tested it. And brain electrical oscillation signature profiling, BEOSP. BEOSP is brain fingerprinting or brain mapping. Uh, it operates in, wait, let me tell you, BEOSP, brain electrical oscillation signature profiling, works this way. See, if anything is shown to an individual, there will be some stimulus generated in our brain, and that triggers different neurons, and it generates some brain waves. These brain waves uh, are studied, and with this they can find whether the data is correct or incorrect. I mean, based on the data generated, so they can even use to they can also be used to find in criminal investigations. Okay, so this BEOSP is carried out by a process known as electroencephalogram, and based on the brainwave responses, so a person's brain pattern can be known, and this can be used in crime investigations, medical diagnosis, and also probing of counter-terrorisms. And unlike polygraph test, this does not involve any question and answer format. Like if polygraph tests are usually conducted by taking into different levels of a criminal or the accused, like for example, blood pressure, pulse rate, respiration, skin conductivity, all those are taken, and then polygraph. I mean, when uh, When investigator asks any question based on the response and of different patterns, based on the response of different parameters, they come to know whether they are guilty or not. But this does not work that way because there is no uh, question of asking questions in here. And next exercises in news, exercise Ekata. Ekata was conducted between India and Maldives, and Ekuverin is also between India and Maldives. And X Khan Quest 2023, it was conducted in Mongolia. It is a multinational peacekeeping exercise where Indian Army also participated. And next one is environment. Recently, ICIMOD, International Center for Integrated Mountain Development, has released a WISE report of the Hindu Kush Himalayas. WISE report, Water, Ice, Society and Ecosystems report. So, what is ICIMOD? ICIMOD is an intergovernmental organization, and it focuses on different pa it focuses on different climate and environmental risks. And members of the ICIMOD are Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, China, India, Myanmar, Nepal, and Pakistan. And the WISE report highlighted that the global warming, with this continued global warming, the glaciers are going to lose 30 to 50% of their volume compared to that present in 2015. And also water security already, the peak water means the stage in which the supply of the fresh snow due to the glacier melt will be the highest ever, means the melting of the snow from the glaciers will be the highest. According to this report, the peak water stage will be reached by around mid-century in Hindu Kush Himalayas basins. And there is also a threefold increase in the GLOF risk. GLOF means glacial lake outburst floods. Next, Hindu Kush Himalayas, if you can see, Hindu Kush Himalayas are present over a wide range of the countries. And from Afghanistan to Myanmar, and they are also known as the water towers of the Asia. And different initiatives taken for the preservation of glacial ecosystem are NMSHE, National Mission for Sustaining the Himalayan Ecosystem, which is implemented by Department of Science and Technology, and it is part of NAPCC, National Action Plan on Climate Change, and NCPOR, which was established by the Ministry of Earth Sciences. And the also a research station was established in Chandra Basin in Himachal Pradesh, named Himanch, and National Institute of Hydrology was also set up. And there are different global initiatives, like for example, ICMOD's initiatives like HIMAP, Himalayan Monitoring Assessment Program, and as now we have seen, ICMOD also gave WISE report. Okay, so framework for regional cooperation by the UNDP and UNESCO's World Glaciers Monitoring Services. UNESCO's World Glacier Monitoring Services. Energy transition. So recently, the World Economic Forum, in collaboration with the Accenture, released a report titled "Fostering Effective Energy Transition 2023." And in this report, the Energy Transition Index was published. So about Energy Transition Index of 2023, it was prepared based on three parameters: equity, security, and sustainability. And the findings were Sweden ranked first, and India has been placed 67th out of 120 countries. And India and Singapore are the only two countries that are making advances in all aspects for the energy transition. Okay. Next, what is energy transition? Energy transition, first of all, means shifting from the fossil-based fuel to the renewable energies. World Economic Forum was established in 1971. It is a not-for-profit foundation, and it is a public-private cooperation. And the members comprise of different countries and different corporations, and reports given by WEF, Global Competitiveness Index, Global Gender Gap Report, etc. why this energy transition is required in India. Energy transition is required. Why it is required? Because the it also helps in achieving the NDCs, nationally determined contributions of the India, and also the goals pledged by our Indian Prime Minister in COP26, that is Panchamrit Pledge. Even that can also be achieved with the energy transition. And also the different kind of like pollution can be reduced and habitat destruction can also be reduced and the energy security, accessibility, affordability of energy and green jobs, create green jobs. Green jobs means those who are the number of people, the jobs that are available in uh, renewable energy technology or renewable energy sector. Energy transition index framework, different. It comprises of. It takes into picture the finance and the investment, education and human capital, infrastructure, innovation, and regulations and political commitments of a country. Next, if you can see, these are the different types of steps taken by the Indian government towards achieving energy transition. Low cost finance for the energy transition report was released by IRENA in close collaboration with Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. This is an important point. Tracking SDG 7, the energy process report, was released by IEA, IRENA, and UNSD, and World Bank and World Health Organization. And SDG 7 comprise of achieving affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. And according to this report, the current pace in energy transition is not sufficient for achieving the 2030 targets. SDGs are the targets that aim for achieving certain different parameters by 2030, and the current pace is not adequate to achieve those targets. Coal-based thermal power plants emissions norms compliance. So Center for Science and Environment, which is an environmental NGO, it assessed the compliance of the coal-based power plants in with SO2, SOx emission norms. SOx means SO2 related to sulfur oxide. So this report given by the CSE uh, is based on the data provided by the Central Electricity Authority, which is Central Electricity Authority is under Ministry of Power, and it also done assessment of the flue gas desulfurization. These flue gas desulfurizations are installed to reduce the SOx emissions. And the major findings of this report are only 5% of the thermal power plants are in compliance with the emission norms, and 17% of the thermal power plants were still in initial stages of compliance. And emission norms for TPPs, thermal power plants. In 2015, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has introduced some emission norms under the Environment Protection Act of 1986. And in 2021, the government extended the timelines for achieving the emission norms to thermal based power plants based on different categorization. Category A comprises of an area within 10-kilometer radius of Delhi NCR and also cities having population of more than 10 lakh, and their deadline is earlier it was 31st December 2022, now extended to 31st December 2024. Category B, those comprises area of 10 kilometers radius of critically polluted areas or non-attainment cities. Non-attainment cities are those which fail to meet the national ambient air quality standards, and their deadline is now extended to December 31st, 2025. In category C, for the rest of the thermal power plants, and the deadline is now 31st December 2026. And those plans which announced themselves that they are going to be retiring soon, before uh, before if they are going to retire before 2027 December 31st, then they are not supposed to, I mean, they don't have any compliance to meet these norms for SOx emissions. And if you look at NAAQS, National Ambient Air Quality Standards, these NAAQS are given under the Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1981, and the list of pollutants are notified by the CPCB, and they included 12 pollutants. These are the 12 pollutants: PM 2.5, PM 10, NOx, SO2, carbon monoxide, NH3, ammonia, ozone, C6H6 benzene, lead, nickel, arsenic, and benzopyrene. These are the different types of pollution control technologies that are deployed at different stages of the thermal power plants, like pre-combustion, during pre-combustion stage, coal washing and blending, and during combustion stage, low LNB, low NOx burner, and OFA, over fire air, are installed inside a boiler to reduce the levels of the NOx, and limestone injection is installed in the furnace to reduce the SOx reduction. Whereas during the post combustion stage, for SOx emission, flue gas desulfurization should be deployed, and for NOx, selective catalytic or non-catalytic reduction. And for particulate matter emission, electrostatic respirators or fabric filters need to be deployed or installed. Disaster management in India. Recently, the Ministry of Home Affairs has announced three different schemes worth more than 8,000 crore for disaster management. First of all, uh, the institutional mechanism present in our country under the Disaster Management Act 2005 is at national level. The NDMA is apex body headed by the Prime Minister, and it also comprises of the NEC, National Executive Committee, which prepares a plan, and National Disaster Response Force. And at state level, SDMA, SEC, and SDRF. At district level, consists of the DDMA, which is headed by the district collector, deputy commissioner, or district magistrate. And these schemes were announced by the Ministry of Home Affairs in line with the Vision at 2047, which is to strengthen the disaster risk reduction system in our India. And the three major schemes includes first one is to reduce the risk of urban flooding. Uh, Seven most populous countries' coastal areas are selected, and projects are to be implemented worth 2,500 crore. So the seven states, I mean seven different areas are Ahmedabad, Mumbai, and Bangalore, Pune, Chennai, Hyderabad, and Kolkata. These are the seven coastal areas which are populous and also prone to urban flooding. And the second scheme is 825 crore worth national landslide risk mitigation project in 17 states and union territories. This project is only in 7 states, and this one is in 17 states. And next, the 5,000 crore project to expand and modernize the fire services across different states. And the initiatives taken by the India National Disaster Mitigation Fund was established, and IMD also issues 5 days advance forecast of rainfall and flood these days, and deploying of the ICT, like for example, Disaster Management Information System portal, and Apada Mitra consists of the volunteers to they are encouraging the youth to become the volunteers in high disaster risk prone districts. And other initiatives are National Disaster Management Plan of 2016 and National Policy on Disaster Management and NDMA guidelines for disasters like earthquakes and cold wave, etc. And Prime Minister also released 10-point agenda on disaster risk reduction and National Disaster Response Fund, which is managed by the central government. And India is also a signatory to Sendai framework. If you remember this, in the Sendai framework only, the term disaster risk reduction was first coined, and Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure was an initiative launched by India at global level. This initiative was launched at global level. If you look into this Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure (CDRA), recently the cabinet has approved the headquarters. Cabinet of a country has approved that CDRA quarters to be at New Delhi. So CDRA, if you look at what CDRA is, uh, it is a global partnership of national governments, UN agencies, and different sector, private sectors, academic and research institutes, all those, in which was launched in 2019 by the our Prime Minister at UN Climate Action Summit at New York, and its headquarters are at New Delhi. And currently, this membership include 31 countries and 6 international organizations, and 2 private sector organizations are also member. And it works to in compliance with the Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction and also Paris Climate Agreement. Urban floods. Urban floods means it can be given as why urban floods are happening more. It's because of the excessive runoff that is developed in urban areas, along with a poor drainage system that is present in different states or different metropolitan cities, leading to inundations causing urban floods. Different initiatives taken by India to tackle the urban flooding are like just now we have seen this newly launched scheme of 2,500 crore project to reduce urban flooding in 7 most populous areas. And the other are under Amrut, standard operating procedures are also given by the central government, and guidelines given on the urban flooding by NDMA, and alert systems and warnings by the Ministry of Home Affairs, like in different color range in different for indicating different categories, like for example yellow, orange, and red, and integrated flood warning systems like iFlows, which was first installed in Mumbai. Now, the similar system is also going to be introduced in Chennai. CFlows. Fires. In India, fire incidents are very much witnessed in densely populated urban areas. So, for example, these are the different fire accidents happened, major fire accidents happened in our country. So, fire safety regulations that are present in India. If you again remember, just now we have seen one of the 3 schemes is 5,000 crore project to expand and modernize fire services across the different states. So you can write that point also. And according to that, along with that, there are different regulations also present. For example, amended Model Fire Bill of 2019, which aims to bring uniform law across the states, and also National Building Code of India, which was published by the Bureau of Indian Standards, and different guidance stipulated by the NDMA. Cloud seeding. Cloud seeding. Recently, the institute, IIT Kanpur has successfully conducted a test flight for cloud seeding. So cloud seeding. Cloud seeding, what is it? Cloud seeding. Cloud seeding is a modification of the weather by inducing artificial rainfall. How this artificial rainfall is infused by introducing different chemicals that help in condensation, and then leading to the rainfall. So what are the different chemicals that are used? Few are silver iodide, dry ice, potassium iodide, propane, calcium carbide, ammonium nitrate, sodium chloride, urea. So these are the different chemicals that are used to induce condensation, thereby leading to rainfall. So how are these different chemicals introduced into the clouds? They can be used using 2 means. First one is using large cannons, and second one is using airplanes. So large cannons are, I mean, using some guns to shoot the particles directly into the air. And second one is using airplanes. They go up nearby the clouds, and then they introduce they spray these chemicals onto the clouds. So IIT Kanpur recently, which test flighted, it used this airplane method, and this test flight conductor was named by the IIT Kanpur as CAIPEX-4 experiment. And earlier, this cloud seeding experiment was conducted in Maharashtra in 2018 and 2019. So, what are the benefits of this cloud seeding? Like, as you can expect, there is in Indian agriculture, it is mainly dependent on rainfall. So, drought management or clearing the fog in airports and forest fires can be reduced, improving water availability, all this. Some of the issues are bioaccumulation. Bioaccumulation is the chemicals that we are introducing, they get accumulated in the water, and the water that the rainwater that directly falls onto the soil, that chemical gets bioaccumulated. So suggestions are nanotechnology based titanium dioxide coating can be used for enhancing the effectiveness of the cloud seeding. UN High Seas Treaty. UN High Seas Treaty, it was adopted by the Intergovernmental Conference on Marine Biodiversity of Areas Beyond National Jurisdiction, PBNJ. High Seas Treaty. It is also known as High Seas Treaty. So this UN High Seas Treaty was adopted under the UN clause, and it is a legal binding, and it will enter into force once only 160 countries have ratified it. The key highlights of the UN High Seas Treaty are it has the polluter pays principle and assesses the potential environmental impacts. The countries are needed to assess the potential environmental impacts beyond their jurisdictions, and it introduces an integrated approach of ocean management, like tackling climate change and both ocean acidification, and recognize the rights and traditional knowledge of the local communities. And it also aims to establish the large-scale marine protected areas. Marine protected areas include different marine national parks, marine wildlife sanctuaries, etc. And okay, that's it. About the UN High Seas Treaty, you just need to remember a few things, that it was adopted on the UN clause and it is legally binding, comes into force only when 60 countries ratify it, and then it consists of different different principles. Next, Bond Climate Meet. Bond Climate Meet recently was held at Dubai. So, so this Bond Climate meet during the key discussions during the conference are a draft framework for the global stock take was released, and mitigation work program was set up at COP26 in Glasgow. So even that was also revised, and loss and damage principle, which was a result of the COP27, even that was also discussed, and the new collective qualified goals, which was agreed during the 2015 Paris conference, uh, for financing certain amount prior to 2025, that target is going to be missed. According that was also discussed. Uh, European Investment Bank is expected to back debt for nature swap this year. Debt for nature swap is an arrangement in which countries cut their debts in return for conservation commitments. Debt for nature swap. Next, Paris Finance Meet. Summit for new global financing pact was concluded recently in Paris, and the summit's objective was to boost crisis financing for low-income states and ease their debt burdens, reform post-war financial systems, and free up funds to tackle climate change. In this summit, there were few announcements made. First one include the $200 billion of multi-development banks multi-development banks are going to lend $200 billion for the emerging economies, and $100 billion is to be provided to poorer countries through SDRs. Uh, standing depository rights, that is a currency provided by IMF. Next, 2.5 billion euros Just Energy Transition Partnership deal was also announced for Senegal, okay, to increase the renewable energy share. And global expert review on debt, nature, and climate was also proposed. Pollution tax was also discussed. Pollution tax is a tax that is levied on persons who pollute the environment, and Paris aligned carbon markets uh, was also started by EU. And an overdue of $100 billion climate fund will be delivered this year. They also proposed that. Next, global. So only the few things are important in this Paris Finance Meet. So Paris Finance Meet, it's all about the finances. So new global financing pact was concluded, and $200 billion to be lent by the MDBs and $100 billion through SDRs and Just Energy Transition Partnership of 2.5 million euros. And pollution tax was also discussed, and global expert review on debt, nature, and climate, and Paris aligned carbon markets by EU, and 100 billion overdue is also going to be delivered this year. Global Environment Facility approves Global Biodiversity Framework Fund. Global Biodiversity Framework Fund and was approved by the Global Environment Facility. Global Environment Facility. First of all, let us look into what is Global Environment Facility. Global Environment Facility is a multi-stakeholder partnership, and it was established during the 1992 Rio Earth Summit of UNFCCC. And GEF funding is provided by donor countries for every 4 years, and it serves as a financial mechanism for five conventions. They are CBD, UNFCCC, and UNCCD, Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants, and Minamata Convention on Mercury. So these are the five conventions for which Global Environment Facility provides funding. And the structure of the Global Environment Facility, it consists of the 185 member countries, including India, and GF, it consists of the GEF Council, which is the governing body, and GF Secretariat is present in Washington. And yeah, so this GEF Council 64th meeting was held in Brazil, and there it approved GBFF, Global Biodiversity Framework Fund, to finance Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. So this GBFF was approved to finance this implementation of the KMGBF. So this GBFF will be launched uh, at Global Environment Facility Assembly in Canada. It was launched in August 2023, and there are different thematic areas, and three principles guide this allocation of resources. First one, allocation system must accommodate financial contributions on a rolling basis, consider special needs of the least development countries and small island development states, and acknowledge the biodiversity. So this KMGBF, uh, to fund this KMGBF only, this GBFF, Global Biodiversity Framework Fund, was approved and launched. So this KMGBF was adopted at COP25, sorry, COP15 at Montreal of UNCBD, and that's it. According to this KMGBF, the targets are, it consists of 23 set of targets that need to be achieved by 2030, which include 30% conservation of land and sea and 30% restoration of the degraded ecosystems, like 30-30. Okay, 30% conservation and 30% restoration. Okay, next one, World Environment Day. World Environment Day of 2023. World Environment Day is celebrated on 5th June every year. It started since 1973, which was first started as part of the UNEP to build awareness. And this year, the theme being be it plastic pollution. It was this year the host country is, I mean, last year 2023, the host country was Cote d'Ivoire, which uh, hosted in partnership with the Netherlands. And 45th Environment Day was celebrated by India with the same theme under its leadership. Okay, so this 50th Environment Day is celebrated in 2023 by Cote d'Ivoire in partnership with the Netherlands. But 45th Environment Day was celebrated under India's leadership with the same theme, that is beat plastic pollution. And recently, I mean, in 2023, in line with the World Environment Day, Ministry of Environment and Forest Climate Change has launched two schemes, Amrit Dharohar and Mishti. Amrit Dharohar is related to reducing the use of chemical pesticides, and Mishti is for protecting mangroves. And this UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, it is an intergovernmental organization established in 1972 as part of the Stockholm Conference, which is also known as UNCHE, United Nations Conference on Human Environment. The objective is to set the global environmental agenda, and member states are 193 member states, which India is also a member, and it depends on the voluntary contributions. 95% of its income comes from the nine voluntary contributions, and the major reports given by the UNEP are Global Environment Outlook Report, Adaptation Gap Report, Triple Emergency, Cooling Emissions and Policy Synthesis Report, which is published by the UNEP in association with the Cooling Emissions and Policy Synthesis. So this is also important, like the major reports given by the UNEP. Next, climate change and food choices. A recent study highlighted the importance of bringing food choices and dietary habits to reduce the emissions and tackle global warming. So, a study showed that in how dietary habits and food choices of an individual can help in tackling the climate change. Okay, so according to it, five highest emitting countries based on the food consumption are China, India, Indonesia, Brazil, and US, which are responsible for more than 40% of the global food supply chain emissions. So, what are the like different food choices can be adopted by the individual? Like, for example, shift in diets to animal-based products. Uh, Next, preference to packaged and processed foods. So, I mean, the reasons that are contributing to food supply chain related emissions are animal-based products and packaged and processed foods, globalization of the food choices, widespread consumption and food wastage. Next, subsidies and climate change. According to a report given by the World Bank, it highlights that subsidies are not helping in tackling the climate change. They are having negative consequences on climate change. For example, by giving huge subsidies in agriculture, fishing, and fossil fuel sectors, they are indirectly uh, leading to global deforestation and air pollution, causing premature deaths and dwindling fish stocks and overfishing, etc., respectively. So this subsidies distribution is very skewed and uneven in countries, and the guiding principles that should be the guiding principles for subsidy reforms are to build these points can be used in mains, like whenever there is a question on subsidies, so you can write these as a way forward. So, like to build public acceptance and complementary measures, mitigate price shocks, and smooth the transition, redistribute the revenue. Draft Green Credit Program Implementation Rules. GCP. Draft GCP Implementation Rules was notified by the MOFCC, and it was notified under the Environment Protection Act of 1986. And the draft GCP Implementation Rules consist of uh, incentives provided to the units for delivering the positive impact on the environment. So, green credit means a singular unit of an incentive provided for a specific activity delivering positive impact on the environment. So, objectives of the GCPs are market-based mechanism for providing green credit, create a mass movement in line with the mission life, And green credits will be tradable outcomes, will be tradable in the domestic market, and uh, green credits may also get carbon credits. Indian Council for Forest Research and Education is the administrator of the GCP, Green Climate, Green Credit Program. Administrator is ICFRE. GCP was announced during the Union Budget of 2023, and it was in line with the mission life, and it aims to create a competitive market-based approach for green credits, and it is in line with the Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. So nothing. This GCP draft implementation rules were given by the MFCC in line with the Environment Protection Act of 1986, and it provides a market-based economy and to realize the mission life. And the administrator of GCP was East Indian Council of Forest Research and Education. Okay, next, short-lived halogens. Recently, a study came out that oceans cool the planet by releasing short-lived halogens that contribute to nearly 8 to 10% of the cooling. Short-lived halogens are those halogens which are having lifetime of less than 6 months, and these are the gases that contain different halogen elements like chlorine, bromine, or iodine. And the source of these short-lived halogens are phytoplankton and algae, and different abiotic sources from from ocean also are responsible for the release of SLH. And this SLH has an impact of reducing the warming by depleting ozone and reducing the formation of cooling aerosols. SLH increases the methane lifetime, and it also increases the level of water vapor. So this topic is nothing but how oceans contribute in cooling of the atmosphere. Lead rating system. Lead rating system was given by, it is a certification system which was developed by the US Green Building Council, and it is administered by the Green Business Certification Incorporation, and it achieves and recognizes building at four certification levels: certified, silver, gold, and platinum. In line with this lead rating system, IGBC, Indian Green Building Council, has launched a Lead India program. So, in this lead rating system, India has outperforms US and China in leadership in lead net zero certifications. Okay, this lead rating system, in that India outperforms US and China in net zero certifications, and India has 73 lead zero certified projects comprising of 45% more than 150 total lead zero certifications. Okay, this is really very important. Total lead zero certifications are 150, out of which India has 73. That means more than 45%. So nearly one third of the carbon emissions come from India. From in India, one third of the emissions come from the building and construction sector. And in LEED certifications, Haryana and Tamil Nadu are leading in India. India's DLF group is the leader globally in total zero certifications. Is the leader globally. Globally, India's DLF group has more number of LEED Zero certifications. And Griha rating was developed by TERI and the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and it is a five-star rating system which is valid for 5 years. Other initiatives for green buildings are IGBC rating systems, that this Griha, and Energy Conservation Building Code ECBC given by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, and BEE rating system for commercial buildings. National Water Awards. The President of India, Draupadi Murmu, has recently announced gave fourth National Water Awards. So the National Water Awards, in that best state uh, Best state was Madhya Pradesh, and best district was Ganja in Odisha. So about National Water Awards, these were first launched in 2018 by the Department of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation. And since 2018, second and third editions were given for 2019 and 2020, but in 2021, the awards were not given due to COVID-19, and then later given in 2022. Okay, the best state was Madhya Pradesh, and then Ganjam district was the best district. Next, desiccation tolerant vascular plants or DT plants. New study discovered that in Western Ghats, 52 DT vascular plants were present. So these are having different applications in agriculture. DT plants are capable to withstand extreme dehydration. Like they can lose up to 95% of the water, but they can still survive in that area. So these are commonly known as resurrection plants, and they occupy most of the rock outcrops. Rock outcrops are the visible exposures of the bedrock or other geological formations at the surface of the earth. I mean, where the water is very less available, they adapt to that areas very easily. These are called as desiccation tolerant plants. Next, protosterol biota. Protosterol biota. Recently, a study was found that protosterol biota inhabited the. So this protosterol biota was inhabited underworld underwater world over 1.6 billion years ago. That is in proteros Proterozoic eon. Okay, protosterol biota was that life which inhabited underwater world over 1.6 billion years ago. This 1.6 billion years ago period was called as Proterozoic era. So this protosterol biota belongs to the eukaryotes, and these are the source of the evolution of the Earth. And these eukaryotes are nothing but the single-celled or multicellular organisms which have nuclear and other membrane-based organelles. And modern forms of eukaryotes include fungi, plants, animals, single-cell organisms, etc. Like for example, amoeba. Ban on drugs harmful for vultures. Okay, Drugs Technical Advisory Board (DTAB) has recommended ban on two more drugs which are harmful for vultures. Earlier, which ban on two more drugs means earlier the name of the drugs which were banned earlier by DTAB are diclofenac. Diclofenac was already banned in India. Now two more drugs which are banned are ketoprofen and aceclofenac. So these are the drugs uh, which are harmful to vultures. So this DTAB is the highest statutory decision-making body on technical matters related to drugs in India. Okay, related to drugs in India, statutory body. Okay. Next, it is a part of CDSO, Central Drug Standards Control Organization, which is under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And so this ketoprofen and aceclofenac, diclofenac, and nimesulide are the NSAIDs, which are used in veterinary practice, but are proven toxic to vultures. So diclofenac was already banned, and now ketoprofen and aceclofenac are also banned. So these NSAIDs are used to treat the cattle. Okay, so total number of 9 species of vultures are found in India. Of them, the important ones being white-billed vulture, slender-billed vulture, and long-billed vulture. All these three are critically endangered. White-backed vulture, slender-billed, and long-billed. Next, river sand mining. National Green Tribunal has made it mandatory to obtain the consent from the concerned SPCBs for river sand mining. Okay, it has now made mandatory for river sand mining. So NGT, National Green Tribunal, has directed the MOAFCC to issue guidelines in line with this, and according to it, no river sand mining will be allowed in our country from 1st September 2023 without obtaining the consents of the state pollution control boards. So this is made mandated. That's it. So coming to the sand is a minor mineral, and it is classified as a minor mineral under the Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act of 1957. And as it is a minor mineral, its administrative control rests with the state governments. Impact of the sand mining, like it can alter the riverbed and destroys the habitat, and several initiatives taken to curb sand mining are Sustainable Sand Mining Management Guidelines by MOFCC and Sand Mining Framework of 2018 prepared by the Ministry of Mines, and alternative sources of sand in the form of like manufactured sand from crushed rocks can also be utilized to reduce sand mining. Marine noise pollution. Conservation for Migratory Species of Wild Animals Convention has released a report to address a major threat to marine species, that is noise pollution. So this CMS has released a report regarding how noise pollution is affecting the marine species. The report focuses on three major sources of noise pollution. They are shipping, seismic air gun surveys, and pile driving. Okay, the solution offered for the noise pollution by the CMSR use marine vibrosics. Marine vibrosics is a technology that is designed to produce controlled vibration as compared to the air gun controlled vibration and low frequency air guns. And ship design should be improved. So these are the suggestions given by the CMS. Next, Indian Ocean Dipole and El Nino. So El Nino, which was already established in 2023, positive IOD development was also forecasted by the meteorological agencies. So IOD, Indian Ocean Dipole, can be defined as a difference in the sea surface temperature between the eastern and western sides of the Indian Ocean. If you observe, this is India, and then here is Africa, and this is Southeast Asia. Okay, so this is the Indian Ocean, right? The temperature differences between the eastern and the western parts of the Indian Ocean leads to Indian Ocean dipole. So Indian Ocean dipole can be two types. That is, IOD can be of two types. One is positive IOD and the second one is negative IOD. So positive IOD means if so positive IOD, if it is eastern and it is western, positive IOD comprises, wait. If it is western part and eastern part, uh, positive IOD means the warm water, the western part of the IOC is under warm water phase, warm phase. So it means favoring more rainfall towards the western part of the Indian Ocean. So this also favors more rainfall in Africa and India and other adjoining areas. So negative IOD, this is positive IOD, whereas negative IOD is just the reverse. Negative IOD means if this is eastern and this is western, the eastern place will be the eastern part of the Indian Ocean will be under warm phase. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so already with the presence of El Nino, the IOD development was also forecasted. So, relation between the El Nino Southern Oscillation and IOD. So, the air circulation in the Indian Ocean is from the west to east in the opposite directions at the upper level. Air circulation is from the west to east and in opposite directions in the upper level, and the normal year warm water from the West Pacific crosses over the Indian Ocean. So this is nothing but just like I have told you, like negative IOD is associated with La Nina and positive IOD is associated with El Nino. That's it, those things. So Indian Ocean dipole negative phase means it leads to negative side of India. So here this is western part and eastern part of Indian Ocean. Cyclones in Arabian Sea. Biparjoy cyclone. There was a cyclone named Biparjoy. Biparjoy in Arabian Sea. Okay. Uh, it made Okay, the affected areas are Gujarat coast and towards Pakistan, Iran, and Oman. So there is nearly 52% increase in the frequency of the cyclonic storms in the Arabian Sea, and the reasons being the warming of the both the sea surface temperatures of the deep waters in Arabian Sea, and also the warmer conditions are favorable for formation of the cyclones, and also the frequency of the El Nino Morakki phenomena. El Nino Morakki causes the warm moist conditions in central Pacific and dry cold conditions in the eastern and the western Pacific. So this is also favoring the formation of the cyclones. Earthquake in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. So several mild intensity earthquakes were reported in 24 hours in Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. And why earthquakes are more common in these areas? Because of the geology of the Himalayas, which are very vulnerable to the earthquakes. If you remember, this the Indian plate is subsiding under the this Eurasian plate. Okay, Eurasian plate. Okay, which led to the disappearance of the Tethys Sea and formation of the Himalayas. Himalayas are still growing, which are young fold mountains. Okay, just go through the concept of that and why the geology of Himalayas is in such a way that it is more prone to earthquake because of the three major tectonic units that are present in the Himalayas. First one is main central thrust, main boundary thrust, and Himalayan frontal thrust or main frontal thrust. So this main central thrust is present between the higher and the lesser Himalayas, and the main boundary thrust is between the lesser and the sub-Himalayas. So this main Himalayan thrust comprises of all these different types of Himalayan thrust, MCT and MBT. There is about 700-kilometer stretch in central Himalayas where main frontal thrust has shown no sign of any rupturing of several centuries, which is referred to as the central seismic gap. Central seismic gap means there is no sign of the rupturing for several centuries. It means there can be any earthquake uh, in coming years. Seismic gap regions are very high risk areas for the earthquake. So this Thethian thrust, main central thrust, main boundary thrust, and Himalayan fault thrust, frontal fault. Groundwater extraction tilted Earth's spin. With the increased groundwater extraction, what a new study found was the planet is tilted nearly 80 centimeters towards the east. Okay, so this excessive extraction of the groundwater can lead to fluctuation of the poles and because of the variation in the Earth's mass distribution. Okay, then the next one is social issues, social justice and decent work. Social justice and decent work. Recently, ILO released a report titled Advancing Social Justice for promotion of the decent work. So about social justice is about fairness, equality, and having a voice and the agency to shape one's own life. Okay, different dimensions of the social justice like human rights, equal access, and fair distribution and just transitions. Social justice and decent work. So what the ILO defined it decent work as uh, is productive work for women and men in conditions of freedom, equity, security, and human dignity. Ensuring a decent work for all is the essential aspect of this report, which it terms as an important thing for achieving sustainable development that promotes social justice. So ILO headquarters are at Geneva, Switzerland. It was created in 1919 as part of the Treaty of Versailles after the World War One, and ILO and the UN. ILO became a part of UN agency in 1946, and it consists of 187 members, which of which India is also a part, and few of the important reports given by the ILO are World Employment and Social Outlook and Global Wage Report. Decent Work Agenda was launched by the ILO to achieve Goal 8 of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Okay, the next one is National Indicator Framework for SDGs. National Indicator Framework was launched or was released by the Ministry of Statistics and Programming Implementation to assess the implementation of the SDGs in our country. This NIF was released by MOSPI following or in line with global indicator framework which was established or which was framed by the interagency expert group on SDGs. At global level, IAEG SDGs releases the framework and at country level, MOSPI. So this IAEG SDGs was set up by the UN Statistical Commission, and India represents the IAEG SDGs through MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, and this India represented for the Southern Asia during the term of 2021 to 2023. This is also important, and India was also a member for two consecutive terms. So each term is for 2 years. Okay. So this is the third time representation. Earlier representation, and this is the third time representation. Uh, yeah, the Ministry of State and Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation has also circulated guidelines for the states to deploy state indicator framework in achieving SDGs. Gender Gap Report. Gender Gap Report 2023 was released by the World Economic Forum. According to this, India ranked 127 out of 146 countries, and India has improved 1.4% points and 8 places from its earlier rank. And key highlights of the report are it will take nearly 131 years to reach full parity, that is gender equality. Iceland is on the top spot, and the second rank being Norway. And India showed betterment in few parameters, like for example in education enrollment. Uh, and government initiatives that were if you look at the different neighboring countries, their ranks are Bangladesh, China, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Bhutan. These are having much better performance compared to India. Now, just don't look at Pakistan. It means Pakistan anyway will be having very less performance compared to India. Next, government initiatives to improve gender parity, economic participation, and health and survival. For example, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Rashtriya Mahila Kosh, etc. For education attainment, Samagra Shiksha Initiative, Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalayas, etc. And political participation, it's at 30% reservation of the seats of PRIs to women. So there are four parameters in gender gap index. The first one being economic participation, educational attainment, health and survival, and political empowerment are the four parameters in gender gap index, which is released by the World Economic Forum. What is India's rank? It is 127 out of 146. 146. Next. 2023 Gender Social Norms Index Report, GSNI report. So this Gender Social Norms Index report was released by UNDP under the Gender Social Norms Index report. Okay, sorry. So this GNSI report was released by the UNDP, and the title of the report being Breaking Down Gender Biases, Shifting Social Norms Towards Gender Equality. And it captures different beliefs, biases, and prejudices that are present in our society, which are holding back the gender equality, attainment of the gender equality. There are four key dimensions that are present for GSNI, and the key indicators are wait, yeah, political, educational, economic, and physical integrity, These are the different dimensions having the different indicators, and this GSNI data is this GSNI this index is calculated using data from World Value Survey, which are used to create seven indicators using data from 80 countries and territories covering nearly 85% of the global population. So if the value is 1, uh, when there is a bias, and when there is no bias, the value is 0. That means it captures the gender bias. According to this report, what it was found was 9 out of 10 men and women hold biases against women, even the women also. Nearly 50% of the people believe that men can make better political leaders, and also around 40% believe that men can make better business executives. This term is called as glass ceiling. Next, biased gender social norms are major impediment for achieving gender equality, which is SDG 5. And gender biases are pronounced in both lower and higher HDI countries, Human Development Index countries. So these gender biases are present in both developed countries and also underdeveloped countries. Modern slavery. G20 countries, including the India, are according to a report given by Walk Free, the report named Global Slavery Index 2023, which assesses different conditions of the modern slavery in 160 countries. And the new report says that G20 countries, of which India is also a part, are fueling the modern slavery. Okay, the this Walk Free institution uses the data released by the ILO, Walk Free, and International Organization for the Migration. According to it, G20 countries are fueling the modern slavery. Modern slavery refers to the situation of the exploitation that a person cannot refuse or leave because of the threats, violence, coercion, and deception. So this is an umbrella term representing different types of the exploitation. Key findings of this report by Walk Free under Global Slavery Index 2023 are 50 million people were living under modern slavery, and India tops the list with 11 million people working as forced laborers. North Korea, followed by North Korea has the highest prevalence, uh, and the lowest prevalence being in Switzerland. And the driving factors of the slavery are climate degradation, COVID-19, conflict, etc. Like these are the different forms of modern slavery: forced labor, human trafficking, slavery, and slavery-like practice. Global Trends Forced Displacement in 2022 report. UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, has released a report, Global Trends Forced Displacement in 2022. So according to this report, nearly 108.4 million people were forcibly displaced worldwide. So this this forced displacement can be due to different reasons, be it social and climatic reasons. And of this forced displaced people, 30% are children, and 76% of the world's refugees are hosted by low and middle income countries. Okay, and nearly 4.4 million people are stateless, and 6 million displaced people return to their areas or countries of origin. Okay, this global trends forced displacement was released by the UNHCR. Okay, so this is the different data that need to be remembered, mostly used in wings, just to substantiate your points. So, going through the UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, it was established in 1950 by UN General Assembly, and it is dedicated to saving lives, protecting rights, and building better future. And it is guided by the 1951 Refugees Convention and 1967 Protocol. of the Refugee Convention, and 135 countries are part of it, and it releases Global Appeal Report, UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. UGC. UGC institutions deemed to be universities regulations of 2023. Ministry of Education has released these new regulations regarding which institutes uh, uh, can become deemed to be university. So according to this regulation, these regulations were given in line with the new educational policy of 2020, and according to it, few clusters of institutions which are managed by more than one sponsoring body can apply for deemed to be university status. And institutions may start new courses or programs in any field with the prior approval of the Executive Council, and they can also be set up anywhere with the prior approval of the Statutory Council. And the institutions that are going to be deemed to be universities shall compulsorily create ABC identities of the students. ABC identity means academic bank of credits. So this deemed to be universities, these are the different kind of regulations given by the under national education policy. So deemed to be university is a term, is a status provided under the UGC Act of 1956 for the, and it is declared by the central government to any other university or any other institution. Okay. Upon such declaration by the central government, it becomes a deemed to be university. So eligibility criteria for applying or for the deemed to be university status are NAC A grades, A grade rank, A grade status with at least 3.01 CGPA for the 3 consecutive years, and NBA accreditation for two-thirds of eligible programs for 3 consecutive cycles, and in top 50 of any specific category of NIRF, National Institutional Ranking Framework, for the last 3 years continuously, and in top 100 of the overall NIRF ranking for the last 3 years continuously. India Rankings 2023 of the higher educational institutions. This is the eighth edition of the rankings released by the Ministry of Education, and these rankings are based on the National Institutional Ranking Framework, and it consists of 5 different categories of parameters, which include the teaching, learning and resources, research and professional practice, graduation and outcome, inclusivity and outreach, perception. And this 2023 edition of the India rankings was, in these rankings, a new subject was introduced, namely agriculture and allied sectors. And it also integrated the innovation ranking, which was previously given by ARIIA, Atal Ranking of Institutions and Innovation Achievements, as India rankings. And the expansion of the scope of architecture was given to architecture and planning. And IIT Madras topped in the overall category. Next, World Drug Report 2023. It was released by the UNODC, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, and it it is headquartered in Vienna, and it gives technical assistance, research, and normative support to the member states. And the key findings of the report, World Drug Report, are 23% increase in the previous decade in the number of people using drugs, and 45% increase in the past decade in the people suffering from drug use disorder. So nearly there is an increase of 23% of the people using drugs, and the number of people who are affected or who are suffering from the drug related disorders are also increased by 45%. Next, so that's it. And next, moving on to science and technology part. Okay, outer space governance. So recently, United Nations has released a policy briefing titled "For All Humanity: The Future of Outer Space Governance." So the policy title, "For All Humanity: The Future of the Outer Space Governance." So this policy came ahead of the upcoming UN Summit of the Future, which is scheduled to be held in September 2024 in New York. So why is the summit going to be held? It is going to be held to find some multilateral solutions to strengthen the global governance. Okay, next, existing governance framework in related to space, outer space are in 1958, UN Corpus uh, was established. UN Corpus was established by the United Nations General Assembly to govern the exploration and use of the space for the benefit of the all humanity. And UN Corpus has been supported by United Nations Office on Outer Space Affairs, and it and this led to the five international space treaties, namely United Nations, sorry, Outer Space Treaty of 1967, which governs the activities in space exploration uh, and also the use of outer space, including the moon and other celestial bodies, and Rescue Agreement of 1968. And next one is Liability Convention of 1972, Registration Convention of 1976, Moon Agreement of 1979. So, of these five international space treaties, India ratified these four only. Okay, India hasn't ratified Moon Agreement of 1979. Okay, United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs. So initially it was created by as a small expert unit within the UN Secretariat, comprising one or two member countries, of which India is also part, and its headquarters are at New Delhi. And the objective is to global is for global aim for global collaboration in peaceful utilization and exploration of the outer space. Okay, next one is brain computer interface, BCI. So in this section, outer space governance, it's just you have to remember the United Nations released this policy, and why it was released. It was released ahead of the United Nations Summit for Future, going to be held in September 2024 in New York, just for strengthening of the global governance. And these are the different types of the existing laws governing outer space. That's it. Brain computer interface. US FDA has approved Elon Musk Neuralink chip for human trials. Neuralink chip of Elon Musk was approved by the United US Food and Drug Administration. So this aims to build a next generation brain implant with at least 100 times more brain connections than devices that are currently approved by the FDA. So what is this brain computer interface? Brain computer interface is a system which directly controls our brain activity. Okay, based on our brain activity, it controls the external environment. Like for example, it consists of the three parts. One is the device to detect the, like if you can see this image, there is a device to detect the signals from the brain, and then they are processed by the computer, and then the information is sent to the external uh, application. Okay, be it an application or some other device which gets operated. So based on what you think and how the signals are generated, you can just control the external world. So uh, this is a feedback system. Okay, next, different techniques that are used to record the brain data are electroencephalograph and functional magnetic resonance imaging, functional MRI. Okay, next, that's it. So you just need to remember few terms like uh, Neuralink chip by Elon Musk, and it is a brain implant, and it controls something in our environment directly from the brain activity. Comprises of the device to record, and then a computer to process, and then an application device. So and then the feedback system. Okay, just whether the action is complete or not is given by the system. Next one. Okay, about neurons. About neurons, brain cell is made up of different millions of cells millions of cells called as neurons. Brain is made up of neurons. So these neurons are information messengers. They use electrical and chemical signals to send the information. And see, if this is called as axon. These axons are used to transmit the electrical and chemical signals to other cells, and these are called as dendrites, and this is nucleus. So neurons can also receive information through dendrites, and this is axon is used to transmit the or send the information, electrical signals. Next, there are three kind of neurons: sensory, motor, and interneurons. Sensory neurons carry information from the sense organs, and motor neurons control the voluntary muscle activities such as walking, talking, etc. And interneurons are the neural intermediaries that are found in our brain and spinal cord. Types of neurons: multipolar neurons. These neurons have a single axon and symmetrical dendrites extended from it. Multipolar neurons means having a single axon and symmetrical dendrites. Unipolar neurons usually found only in invertebrate species, have a single axon. Bipolar neurons, pyramidal neurons, and Purkinje neurons. Bipolar neurons having two extensions extending from the cell body. At the end of one side is axon, and the dendrites are on the other side. Like this cell axon on one side and dendrites on the other side. Pyramidal neurons, these neurons have one axon but several dendrites to form a pyramid shape. Okay, one axon, here it is one axon but several dendrites. Purkinje neurons, these multiple dendrites that fan out from the cell body. These neurons are inhibitory neurons, meaning that they release neurotransmitters that keep the other neurons from firing. So these are inhibitory neurons. Okay, how do neurons work? Neurons work through junctions called as synapses. So through synapses, they transmit the nerve impulses. So these synapses are two types: electrical and chemical synapses. And electrical synapses are very rare in our system, in human body. Okay, next, gravitational waves. Gravitational waves. Recently, the scientists have found an evidence that gravitational waves are permeating the universe at low frequencies, creating a cosmic background hum. So they found an evidence that these gravitational waves are being produced at very low frequencies, creating a cosmic background hum. So first of all, what are gravitational waves? Gravitational waves are the ripples that are present in the space-time fabric, which are occurred during events such as black hole mergers or neutron star collisions, etc. The most gravitational waves are created when objects move at very high speeds. So this dates back to the Einstein's theory of relativity. And what are gravitational waves? Okay, I will tell you. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, the space is considered as a space-time fabric. Okay, it is considered as a fabric. It is considered as a fabric in which different bodies like planets, Earth, Sun, and different stars are placed. Okay, so whenever, if you imagine this as compared to a cloth, if you place any weight on a cloth, what happens is it creates this kind of a shape, right? Because a cloth gets uh, weighed down by this weight and it creates this shape. Okay, so similar fashion in space-time fabric also, when a planet is placed, it creates this uh, shape. Okay, causing some uh, gravitational waves. So these are ripples in the fabric of the space-time caused during emergent events like during black hole mergers or neutron star collisions. In space-time fabric, if there are any two black holes merging, okay, or if any two stars are colliding something, then during those events, the gravitational waves are released. Okay, so events responsible for the gravitational waves are when a star explodes, when two big stars orbit each other, when two black holes orbit each other, and when a black hole neutron star merges. So there are the different frequencies of gravitational waves, but high frequency gravitational waves and low frequency gravitational waves. Okay, high frequency gravitational waves comes from the smaller pairs of black holes. Okay, whereas low frequency gravitational waves comes from a huge black holes. So these gravitational waves were first detected in 2015 using LIGO detectors. So in this LIGO detectors, what happened is they placed six large radio telescopes, okay, and to study the pulsars. Sorry. Wait. LIGO detectors, right? Wait, the LIGO detectors. I think they haven't mentioned much in detail about the LIGO detectors. Okay. Mm, hmm. So how these low frequency gravitational waves are detected using the telescopes to detect the pulsars. India's giant meter wave radio telescope was set up in Pune. It is one of the world's six large telescopes that play a vital role in providing the evidence that low frequency gravitational waves are also present. And other five are present in Germany, UK, France, Italy, and Netherlands. Pulsars are the distant, rapidly rotating neutron stars. Okay, that emit pulses of the radiation observed from the Earth as bright flashes of the light. So these pulsars are detected. So this burst takes place extremely at precise intervals. For example, uh, where, okay, these pulsars are usually neutron stars. Pulsars are the neutron stars which emit pulses of radiation, and these take place at precise intervals, and hence they are used in cosmic clocks. Okay, when gravitational waves also travel through the space, they get stretched and squeezed by the space-time fabric slightly. And significance of this discovery that gravitational waves are also emitted, creating cosmic background hum. Yes, that there is a gravitational wave background, and it can also help us in knowing about the nature and evolution of the universe and about gravity and space-time. In the theory of gravitation, Isaac Newton postulated the force that makes an apple fall to the earth and keeps the moon in its orbit. This force proposed was proportional to the masses of the two bodies and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Like this, G is equals to capital M by R square. I guess this is the formula itself, but yeah, something like that. Okay. But this Newton fell short of how gravitational force exerted. The two bodies seem to be propagating instantaneously over the large distance, and this was addressed by the Einstein in general theory of relativity, where he showed that in space-time fabric, if there is this okay, this planet which is of small size, for example, and there is this star which is very huge, okay, so this creates a slant position, right, which keeps this planet surround or orbit around this star, okay. So this is how uh, given by the Einstein that gravitational attraction is present and why they are orbiting around a particular star, and small ripples given in the space-time fabric are called as gravitational waves. Rare Higgs boson decay. CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, hosts that hosted which hosted the Large Hadron Collider, has discovered the decay of the Higgs boson into Z boson and photon. So the CERN is a research institute, which India is an associate member, and its headquarters are at New Delhi, and it is to perform research in fundamental physics and about the discovery. This is a very rare decay. The decay of the Higgs boson into Z boson and photon is very rare, and this decay was observed in the ATLAS and CMS, which are the detectors part of Large Hadron Collider of CERN. So what is Large Hadron Collider? Large Hadron Collider is a powerful particle accelerator which was set up in CERN at Geneva. So it consists of the 25-kilometer ring of superconducting magnets, and the particle beams are inside these tunnels. The particle beams are traveled at very high speeds and made them collide to observe the uh, Higgs boson particle. So implications of this discovery that the decaying of the Higgs boson into Z boson and photon can help in discovering the fifth fundamental force, which is yet to be known. And the currently four fundamental forces are strong force, weak force, electromagnetic force, and gravitational force. And this is the order of the strength of the forces, the strong force being the strongest and the gravitational force being the weakest. And this is also one of the previous equations of the UPSC prelims. Next, Higgs boson particle. Higgs boson particle is also known as God particle, which was proved to be in existence in 2012 through the experiments of Large Hadron Collider at CERN. So, this Large Hadron Collider consists of a tubes where the particles are made to collide at very high speed and just to observe if the Higgs boson particle is present or not. So, why this Higgs boson particle is called as God particle? Because this particle itself is having the energy. Okay, it is said that the particle when uh, the particle carries itself with a force, and when it moves through an energy field. So, the mass of the Higgs boson particle is 12.35 giga electron volts, which is nearly 133 times of the proton. So, it is very heavy. Okay, and it is a scalar particle. That means it has no direction and it is having zero spin and also does not possess any angular momentum. And the lifetime of the Higgs boson particle is very short and it rapidly decays. How it rapidly decays into which particles recently found was Z boson and photon. Okay, see, this is for the discovery. Next, the detection of the Higgs boson particle, it is indirectly detected by observing the particles into which it decays. It normally decays into pairs of the photons, W or Z bosons. What is the standard model of the particle physics? Standard model of the particle physics, the framework describes the fundamental particles of the matter, and it also explains the three of the four fundamental forces of the nature. So this standard model of particle physics explains about the strong force, weak force, electromagnetic force, but it does not explain about the gravitational force. Okay, and it also explains about the two elementary particles, fermions and bosons, and the interactions they make. Fermions are made up are the particles that make up the matter. Bosons are the particles that make up the force. And examples of the fermions are quarks and leptons. Bosons examples are photon, W bosons, Z bosons, gluons, and Higgs bosons. Next, so this is the fixed dose combination drugs. Fixed dose combination drugs. Recently, Ministry of Health Family Welfare prohibited the manufacture, sale, and distribution of the 14 fixed dose combination drugs. What are the fixed dose combination drugs? Fixed dose combination drugs are those which consist of one or more active ingredients. What are these active ingredients? Also called as active pharmaceutical ingredients, are which are those components which are biologically active of a drug product. So this why they are banned by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare is because they may cause risk to the health of the human beings, and so that's why they have banned it. And some of the drugs in some of the FDCs include nimesulide paracetamol tablet and amoxicillin and bromhexine tablet. And these FDCs, these 14 FDCs are part of the 344 FDCs which the government earlier banned in 2016. So earlier 344 FDCs were banned and now 14 more were also banned by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So the definition of the fixed dose combination, uh, it falls under the definition of the drug. So this FDCs come under the definition of the drug, and new drugs that is FDCs, new FDC drugs require prior approval from the Drugs Controller General of India before being licensed by the state license authorities. So this DCGI, Drugs Controller General of India, heads the CDSEO, Central Drugs Standard Control Organization, which works under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and this CDSEO is a statutory body, and it also established it is also Central Drug Authority for discharging functions under the Central Government Act, Drug and Cosmetics Acts of 1940. Okay, so that's it. So these FDCs are banned. Now these 14 FDCs are banned, and these FDCs contain one or more active ingredients, or also known as active pharmaceutical ingredients. And the new FDC drugs are going to be needed prior approval from the Drugs Controller General of India, which are then next to be licensed by the state licensing authorities, and this DCGI works under the CDSEO under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The CDSEO is a statutory body and is also Central Drug Authority under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act of 1940. So why these FDCs are banned in India? Because it was found that few FDCs are having compromised quality, and there is also a lack of coherence between different stakeholders which are being licensed by the state licensing authorities, and there is also poor capacity of the state drug control organizations as infrastructure, for example infrastructure and the quality of the drug inspectors, etc. So they were not able to curb the illegal or poor quality fixed drug combinations. So also to avert the drug reaction reporting system uh, and the lack of data, as India does not have an exact database currently related to the FDCs. What are the merits of the FDCs? Instead of taking multiple drugs, you can just take a single drug, right? So it increases efficacy and also reduces the cost and also simpler logistics of distribution. So what are the different steps taken by the Indian government for regulation of the FDCs are Drugs and Cosmetics Act of 2008 and testing capacities of central drug testing laboratories under the CDSEO and Drugs and Cosmetics Rules of 1945, which are amended in 2017. So they are also effective in treating various infectious diseases, for example, HIV, malaria, TB, and it also reduces the pill burden of the patients. Like, yeah, I have said, instead of taking multiple tablets, you can just take a single tablet, right? So, what are the recently the fixed retail prices of the essential medicines was fixed by the NPPA, okay, National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority. So it recently revised the ceiling price of 15 scheduled formulations under Drug Prices Control Order. And the drug prices control in India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare draws up a national list of essential medicines 2022 for price control. These essential medicines automatically come under the Drug Prices Control Order of 2013. So this NPPA fixes retail prices of the 23 formulations, okay, which are revised under the. It has been also revised. It also revised the ceiling prices of the 15 scheduled formulations under this order, and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare releases a list of NLEM 2022, which comes automatically under this order. So this National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority is an independent body under Ministry of Chemicals, Fertilizers, and it enforces the price controls, and it also monitors the availability of the drugs in the country. So what are the issues or demerits of the fixed dose combinations? Pharmacodynamic drugs power mismatch. Okay, mismatch between the two components can also reduce the efficacy and can also sometimes lead to toxicity and decrease the shelf life. Okay, and questionable effectiveness. Like for example, such as in TB, it was found that the treatment in the TB treatment in the absence of DOTS and therapeutic drug monitoring questions often get raised about FDC's effectiveness. Next, antimicrobial resistance. This is also one important point. Mashelkar Committee. Mashelkar Committee was constituted to look into the drug-related cases and corruption, and it suggested that uh, life imprisonment to death penalty should be present for manufacture of sick. Recently, Prime Minister has launched this National Sickle Cell Anemia Elimination Mission in Madhya Pradesh, and the sickle cell disease is a type of the hemoglobin disease. So disorder. It is also called as hemoglobinopathies. It is also one. It also comes under one of the umbrella term, that is hemoglobinopathies. So what happens in the sickle cell anemia? In the sickle cell anemia, it is genetic. It is it. It spreads through genetics, and what happens is, instead of being this in round shape, the RBCs are present in the sickle shape. So because of this presence as a sickle shape, they obstruct the flow of the blood in the blood vessels, and causing thereby causing the thereby the RBC's lifetime gets reduced and causing anemia, leading to sickle cell anemia, and it can also have symptoms like jaundice, liver and spleen enlargement. And stem cell and bone marrow transplants are the only cure for this disease, but they also involve some significant risks. So India is the second worst affected country in terms of the sickle cell anemia. So sickle cell disease is prevalent most in tribal populations because of the malnutrition, and these tribal areas were also endemic to malaria. So this sickle cell anemia also adds some advantage in malaria endemic regions. In heterozygous condition, like if you have this heterozygous condition, means they are just carriers. They don't have the disease, but they are just carriers. So when they are carriers, what happens is, because the malaria in malaria the plasmodium uh, hosts only in the healthy RBCs, okay, healthy RBCs which are round. So, but in sickle cell anemia, as the RBCs are in sickle shape, the plasmodium doesn't affect these. So that's why they are having kind of an advantage. So that too in a condition where an individual is just a carrier but not having a sickle cell disease. So this is another extra information. So according to the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, it conducted a screening test, and 20% of the tribal children die with SCD before even reaching 2 years of age. Okay, so the burden is second worst affected country. Okay, and about National Sickle Cell Anemia Elimination Mission. So this mission's objective is to provide affordable and accessible care to all sickle cell disease patients, and it is also on the mission to eliminate the SCD in India before 2047, and it is carried out through three pillar strategy, that is health promotion, prevention and holistic management and continuum of care. The beneficiaries, it covers the entire population aged between 0 and 18 years initially, and then it can be extended. It will be extended up to 40 years as part of the National Health Mission. Initially, it focuses on the 17 states in which the prevalence is very higher, like including Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, and Chhattisgarh. If you observe, these are the areas where the tribal population is highest. Okay, the mission also aims to cover 7 crore people with screening and counseling for the prevention and care of the sickle cell disease. The program will be integrated and in existence with the present strategies and mechanisms. Like for example, Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Abhiyan under National Health Mission. Okay, so other initiatives that were taken to control the sickle cell anemia are National Health Mission, like guideline on hemoglobinopathies, like I've said, this is an umbrella term for those diseases which affect the hemoglobin cells. Next, government also planning to distribute special cards across the tribal areas for those people who are having less than 40 years of age and 40 years of age. And Ministry of Tribal Affairs also launched a portal wherein the people can register themselves if they have any disease. Okay. Next, that's it. And stem cells. Recently, a team of scientists in the US and UK have created a first synthetic human embryo-like structures in the world using stem cells. Okay, so using stem cells, they have created first synthetic human embryo-like structure. Okay, what is a stem cell? Stem cell is a single cell which has two fundamental capacities. That is, it can replicate or renewal itself, and it can differentiate into different types of cells. Okay, first is it can replicate itself and it can differentiate into other types of cells. That is called as stem cells. These are the features of the stem cells. So these synthetic embryos, which were created by the team of scientists of the US and UK, these synthetic embryos resemble natural embryos at the earlier stages, but they just lack the beating of the heart or the beginnings of the brain, and but they contain placenta, yolk sac, and embryo. So the initial stages of a natural embryo, how it will be, that was just replicated by using stem cells. Okay, they don't have heart and the brain. Okay, these models would help in understanding the impact of the genetic disorders and can also be helped in understanding the reasons behind the miscarriages. So this research will also help in understanding the black box of the human development. Black box of the human development is the process or the period before the pregnancy's progress can also be detected. Okay, what are the different categories of the stem cells? So, different types of stem cells are totipotent, pluripotent, multipotent, and unipotent. Totipotent cells are these cells can, like I have said, they can differentiate into different types of cells, right? Stem cells. So, based on their ability to differentiate into potential to differentiate into different other types of cells, these are classified into four types. Okay, the first being totipotent means they have the potential to differentiate into all three embryonic germ layers and extra embryonic tissues also. So they can help. They can differentiate into all other organs. Okay, all other organ cells. Okay, example being zygote. And the pluripotent means they can differentiate into all form of embryonic germ layers only. Okay, not extra embryonic germ layers, and these include embryonic stem cells. And multipotent means they can at least make into two different lineages of the embryonic germ layer. Here, all the three of the embryonic germ layer, here embryonic and extra embryonic, here only at least two of the embryonic germ layers. For example, being different hematopoietic stem cells. Hematopoietic stem cells give rise to different blood cells, like for example, white, red, and platelets, etc. And unipotent stem cells, these are the example of the skin cells, which can only give to one type of the cell. Okay, there are also another type of stem cells called as induced pluripotent stem cells, which are made in the lab from the adult cells. Relevance of the stem cells and the biomedical research and therapies. So stem cell therapy is also known as regenerative medicine, and it could be either autologous it can also be helped in studying the during transplantation of the organs, for example, like during autologous transplantation or allogenic transplantation. Autologous transplantation is using the uh, using the patient's own stem cells. They are developing into organs and then just transplanting into that individual, whereas allogenic transplantation is using the stem cells from a donor and then developing the organs and then transplanting into an individual. So also to study the toxicology or drug side effects. Next, current status of the use of this stem cell therapy in medicine. So the only stem cell as of now used to diseases are hematopoietic stem cell, which are found in bone marrow. Hematopoietic stem cells are example of this multipotent stem cells. Okay, so these cells are used in treating cancers. Okay, and it can also be used to treat people with conditions such as Fanconi anemia. And initiatives taken by the India to promote stem cell research are National Guidelines for Stem Cell Research, which was first launched in 2007, and support to basic as well as clinical research through national funding, for example, like through ICMR, DBT, and DST. And it is also having two-level monitoring by National Apex Committee for Stem Cell Research and Therapy and Institutional Committee of Stem Cell Research. Okay, that's it. And the legal issues, like it is not legal in a few countries, like for example UK, and it's also very highly expensive. And there can also be immune rejection after the transplantation. So, and safety and ethical issues are also concerns. Lab-grown diamonds. Recently, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi went as part of the state visit to USA, gifted a 7.5 carat eco-friendly lab-grown diamond to the First Lady of the USA. So, what are lab-grown diamonds? Lab-grown diamonds are the artificially manufactured diamonds which are produced through crystallization of the pure carbon. Okay, and it has the same physical and chemical properties as the natural diamonds, and this was first discovered in 1954 by the scientists of the General Electric Research Laboratory in New York. And it is commonly used in different industrial applications where the diamonds are usually used, like for example in use as clutters and other tools and machines. And in electronics, pure synthetic diamonds are also used as heat spreaders for a high power laser diodes. And India produces over 3 million lab grown diamonds, that is nearly 15% of the global diamond production, that is lab grown diamond production. So India is also the largest producer of the lab grown diamonds through CVD technology. What is this CVD technology? Chemical vapor deposition technology. I'll discuss about that here. So CVD technology, through CVD technology, India contributes nearly 25% of the lab grown diamonds. And the government has also introduced various measures to promote the growth of the lab grown diamonds. For example, elimination of the 5% tax on the lab grown diamonds. And additionally, the government has also announced the establishment of the India Center for the Lab Grown Diamonds at IIT Madras. So, what are the different methods for the production of the lab grown diamonds? One is high temperature, high pressure method, and the other is chemical vapor deposition method. What is high temperature, high pressure method? This method requires like the name itself says that it requires high temperature and high pressure, right? So, it usually uses graphite as diamond seed. So, using graphite as a diamond seed means it is through which the by applying of the high temperature and high pressure, then these lab grown diamonds are created using chemical vapor deposition method. Using chemical vapor deposition method, there is a chamber which is filled with gases like for example carbon, hydrogen, etc., along with the diamond seed substrate. Diamond seed substrate usually used is graphite. Graphite is used as a diamond seed. So then this chamber is heated with at high temperature. Okay, high temperature, and then uh, this causes the precipitate to be formed as a diamond. Okay, that's it. News in short. Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. Few states have reduced that to give no objection certificates to bio research trials of the genetic engineer or cotton hybrids. So some states have refused to give the no objection certificates, okay, for research of the trials of the genetically engineered cotton hybrids. So the field trials are going to be usually conducted in Telangana, Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Haryana. And since 2011, it has been made mandatory to obtain the NOC from the state governments. Okay, and agriculture is a state subject, so the states have to give mandatorily an NOC. And GEAC, Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee, is a statutory body which functions under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and it is constituted under the rules for the manufacture, use, import, export and storage of hazardous microorganisms, genetically engineered organisms or cells, rules of 1989, which are framed under the Environment Protection Act of 1986. So that's it. GEAC is a statutory committee under MOEFCC under these rules, which are given under the Environment Protection Act of 1986. And its main function is to approve the activities involving large-scale use of hazardous and recombinants in the industrial production, and it also conducts experimental field trials of genetically engineered organisms. And this BT cotton is developed using Cry1ac and Cry2ab genes, which are isolated from the soil bacterium Bacillus thuringiensis, and this BT cotton is to give protection to the plants from bollworm insect pests. And BT cotton is the so far only GM crop that has been approved for commercial cultivation. And Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee, its headquarters at New Delhi under MOFCC, established under these rules, which were framed under the Environment Protection Act of 1986, and it is responsible for the large-scale use of the hazardous microorganisms and recombinants in research and industrial production. And also, it is also responsible for the release of the genetically engineered organisms, and it can also take punitive action under the Environment Protection Act of 1986. So it can also take a punitive action, and it consists of the 24 members, and it means every month chaired by special secretary or additional secretary of the MOFCC. Cell cultivated meat. Cell cultivated means recently the US government has also made approval for to make the cell cultivated meat, cell cultivated chicken. So cellular agriculture comprises of is a process in which the animal based products are produced entirely from the cell cultures which are grown in labs. So it is also called as lab grown meat, where few cells are taken and they are just allowed to multiply in the lab, and thereby creating the meat from a single cell. So this comprises of two different approaches: cell cultivation and precision fermentation. Cell cultivation is a cellular, and precision fermentation is acellular. Okay, acellular means it does not have any cellular or living material, like for example milk. In 2020, Singapore, being the first country, gave approval for the use of the cell cultivated meat. Okay, next, you have seen, if you can see this extraction of the stem cell, harvest of the cells through biopsy from the live animal or fresh piece of meat, extraction of stem cell and grow in the medium, and then processing of the muscle, and then finally cultivated product. mRNA vaccine. India's first mRNA vaccine gets DCGI approval, Drug Control General of India approval. Gemcovac OM, an mRNA COVID vaccine, booster vaccine produced by the Genova Biopharmaceuticals Limited, and it received the emergency use authorization by DCGI. So it is a lyophilized. Lyophilized means freeze-dried vaccine, which is stable at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade, and it is delivered using a device called as TROPIS. So first mRNA vaccine developed by Genova Biopharmaceuticals Limited, and the name being Gemcovac OM, got DCGI approval, and it is a lyophilized, meaning freeze-dried, and it is delivered using a device called as TROPIS. So what is this TROPIS? TROPIS uses a technology that injects the liquid at high pressure without using of any needles. Okay, so using just high pressure instead of using needles, it uses the high pressure to deliver the vaccines into the skin, through the skin, in the blood. Clinical trials and approval of the new drugs and vaccines is governed by new drugs and clinical trial rules of 2019 under the provisions of the Drug and Cosmetics Act of 1940. So CDSCO, headed by the DCGI is the authority to grant approval, and the vaccine testing and so for clinical trials, CDSO gives approval. And about mRNA vaccine, mRNA vaccine is a type of vaccine which uses mRNA, messenger RNA molecules from the messenger RNA molecules that which can be used as a production of the which can be used for producing a protein that triggers immune response. Okay, once mRNA is injected in the body, the cells read the instructions and produce a protein. Okay, so mRNA is injected, then the cells read the message present in the mRNA and it produces a protein. This protein triggers a immune response. Immune response. Next, this stimulates the immune system to recognize the amount. Okay, that's it. Next, phage therapy. Phage therapy means phage means bacteria killing viruses. Okay, phage means bacteria killing viruses. So, bacteriophages are also called as phages. Is a therapy using viruses is a therapy which uses viruses to kill the bacteria. Okay, so as the antimicrobial resistance is increased due to the improper usage of antibiotics, instead of using antibiotics, the bacteriophages, that means phage therapy can act as a alternative. Okay, so these bacteriophages are the viruses that infect and replicate only the bacterial cells. So phage therapy involves using phages to treat bacterial infections, only bacterial cells, okay? Only bacterial cells. So that's it. And the significance being it is unlikely to cause a damage to human cells, and since they can replicate, the initial dosage can be even very small, and it is inherently non-toxic. Okay, next, leptospirosis. Leptospirosis is a fatal zoonotic bacterial disease caused by bacterium leptospira, and it is a contagious disease in animals. Zoonotic itself means animals, right? But occasionally gets transmitted to humans also. So it is prevalent in warm and humid countries in both urban and rural areas, and the symptoms mimic that of the dengue, malaria, and the hepatitis. Next, Captagon pills. Captagon pills. Captagon pills are a highly addictive amphetamine type of drug, which is mainly used in Syria. So these Captagon pills are used to stimulate the central nervous system, providing a boost to energy and thereby increasing the focus of an individual. And so it is kind of an addictive drug. Okay, okay. Earlier, original Captagon used to contain only phenytoline. Phenytoline, which was a synthetic drug of phenethylamine, phenethylamine family. Okay. Now, this Captagon drug is highly used as an addictive, mainly in Syria, as among the Syrian fighters. Phonons. Phonons, scientists have successfully split the phonons, demonstrating their quantum properties. What are the phonons? Phonons are the quasi-particles that represent the collective vibrations of an atom. Okay, atoms are molecules in a solid material. These phonons represent the collective vibrations. Okay, so the scientists have successfully split the phonons. So this as photons how represent the particles of light as qubits, these phonons, uh, see if you can see, these phonons represent the sound waves and they need some medium to travel, whereas light is represented by photons and they can even travel through empty space like vacuum, like even in space. Okay, example. And they don't interact at all, whereas they can interact and mix with other particles. And photons exhibit both particle-like and wave-like properties, whereas phonons exhibit purely wave-like particles. Sorry, wave-like properties. Okay, so phonons are related to sound. Okay, how photons are is related to light, phonons are related to sound. Project Tara. Project Tara, Alphabet company, which is a parent company of the Google, under Project Tara is currently developing a light beam internet technology to deploy in India, Africa, and other locations of the world. So this Project Tara utilizes free space orbital communication technology, where free space acts as a communication channel between the transceivers that are in line of sight. So it uses the light to deliver the high speed, high capacity connectivity over long distances. It can transmit data up to high speeds of up to 20 gigabytes per second bidirectional up to 20 kilometers. So FSOC, free space orbital optical communication, refers to outdoor optical wireless communications, whereas short distance OWC, that is optical wireless communications, is called as Wi-Fi. So if you look at optical communication is of two types. Okay, first being a long range, long distance, and the second being a short distance. Okay, short distance example is Wi-Fi technology, whereas long distance example is FSOC, free space optical communication. So this transmits using light, beams of light over long distances. So this Wi-Fi uses visible spectrum light to transmit data. So earlier, Project Loon was deployed in India to provide internet through by using stratospheric balloons. Next, Hiroshima AI process, or also known as HAP. Recently, the G7 summit, which was hosted by the Japan, initiated HAP to regulate artificial intelligence. So Hiroshima AI process is to regulate artificial intelligence. So this HAP will be established through a G7 working group in cooperation with the OECD and Global Partnership on AI. So that's it. Next, it's just to regulate the AI utilization. That's it. And it works in cooperation with the G7, OECD, and GPAI. Framework for submarine cable landing in India. So, TRI released the recommendations for the licensing framework and regulatory mechanism in submarine cable landing India. So, cable landing stations. So, this framework gives rules for the setting up of the cable landing stations. So, so the Department of Telecom sought recommendations on various concerns relating to the submarine cables and cable landing stations. So, these submarine cables are laid on the ocean floor, which connect to different countries digitally and connect to the terrestrial network telecom networks, and the cable landing stations are the locations where they make a landfall. So cable landing stations are like, for example if this is a world, okay, like again, this is Africa. If you just, this is a vague picture, okay, and then this Saudi Arabia, all these things, and this is India. Yeah, okay, okay, okay. Like for example, what is the submarine cable? Submarine cables are laid through the ocean floors. Okay, like for example, this this is a submarine cable. Okay, if you want to connect, not this much distance, but usually like this. Okay, if you want to connect different countries digitally by laying down submarine cables, so this is how you connect. Okay, and the area where these submarine cables make a landfall on a country are known as cable landing stations. Okay, so these guidelines were released for regulation of the submarine cables and the cable landing stations. So, what are the essential highlights? Key highlights are it provides essential services like, for example, critical information infrastructure status can be accorded to the CLS. So, this CIS status was given to this SMC, and also there is an exemption on the custom duty and the GST for the goods that are required to make the CLS, and also for the operation and maintenance of the cable landing stations. And the clearances related to the environmental impact assessment and a close coastal regulation zone. So these are also can be made online using the Saral Sanchar portal. and a section need to be added in the Indian Telecommunication Bill 2022 to promote and protect the and prioritize the cable landing station and submarine uh, cable systems. The bill also provides a mechanism to exercise the right of way for laying the telecom infrastructure. Right of way means they have the right to pass over through real property owned by someone else also. Okay, if I have the property and while they are laying the cables, if they happen to lay the cable through my land, then they have the right of way. I cannot object it. So that kind of status is given to the cable landing stations and the submarine cables. Next, coronal mass ejections. Coronal mass ejections. Recently, the scientists spot a coronal mass ejection, which is also known as a solar eruption, which maintains a constant temperature for 6 years. Okay, and they found a CME. They found a coronal mass ejection which maintained a constant temperature for 6 years. Okay, the scientists of the Aryabhatta Research Institute of Nainital found this. Okay, and they found that CME occurred in 2017 that maintained a constant temperature. So this ARIES Nainital, this institute is an autonomous institute which comes under the Department of Science and Technology, and the findings of the study are the scientists observed that despite the core expanding, which usually leads to a cooling temperature, but remain constant. Despite the expansion of the core, the temperature remained constant. Okay, the density of the core decreased by nearly 3.6 times, and the expansion of the core behaved more like a isothermal process, like constant temperature. Like it's all about just how coronal mass ejection that was observed by the ARIES is maintaining a constant temperature, which was first occurred in 2017. So significance of the finding, it helps us in studying how this kind of coronal mass ejections impact the communication systems. And also, yeah, this is also one of the previous year question. If you remember in 2023, they asked a question about the coronal mass ejections. Okay, so like whether they impact communication systems or not, whether they cause tsunamis. They gave different types of options in the question. So that was a previous year question. And next, India's first solar mission Aditya L1, equipped with the visible emission line coronagraph, will provide more data about the CMEs. So Aditya L1, which was launched very recently, CME. Coronal mass ejection is a what is coronal mass ejection? Coronal mass ejection is also known as solar eruption. Okay, solar eruption is a giant cloud of solar plasma drenched with magnetic field lines. So that is blown away from the sun, often during strong duration, long solar flares and filament eruptions. Coronal mass ejections contain particle radiation and powerful magnetic fields. So it is nothing but just see. Coronal mass ejection is a giant cloud of the solar plasma. Solar plasma. It consists of the magnetic field and also consists of the radiation particles that is blown away. That is blown away from the sun. Okay, during solar flares. And Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse is the seventh brightest star in the sky. It was spotted in the constellation of the Orion. It is also called as Thiruvathirai or Ardra in Indian astronomy. This star is in late carbon burning stage, and it is already consumed both hydrogen and helium. So when it consumes all the types of the elements of the periodic table, the gravity would compress the core and turn into a neutron star or a black hole. So this is how the formation of the black holes are. Like initially the stars consume hydrogen and helium, and then late burning stage, and then it after consumption, then it compresses, the core gets compressed and it turns into either a neutron star or a black hole. So Geminid meteor shower. Geminid meteor shower, Parker Solar Probe recently found mysterious origin of the Geminid meteor shower on the Earth. So meteor shower is nothing but it happens when an Earth passes through the path of a through the path of a comet. For example, if there is a comet and it passes through this path, okay, and if the Earth while revolution happens to cross through that path, then it experiences a meteor shower. Okay, this happens. When this happens, the bits of the comet debris create streaks of lights in the night sky. They burn up the Earth's atmosphere. Okay, Geminid meteors are created by the tiny bits of the rocky debris, okay, shed from a small asteroid named Pantheon. So this Geminid meteor shower, what is the source of this Geminid meteor shower? Pantheon asteroid. Pantheon asteroid is the source for the Geminid meteor showers. Okay, and this Pantheon asteroid is very small, like nearly about only 3 miles across, and it loops around the sun for every 1.4 years in an orbit. Okay, next, of the known asteroids, this is the one asteroid which approaches very close to the sun. Quasi-moon. Astronomers have discovered a new asteroid dubbed 2023 FW13 along the Earth recently. They have discovered a new asteroid named 2023 FW13. It is also considered as a quasi-moon or quasi-satellite because meaning that it orbits the sun in a similar time frame as the Earth does. Earth does. So, but it's only slightly influenced by the Earth's gravitational pull. So, what is a quasi-moon or quasi-satellite? It is a body which orbits the sun in a similar time frame as the Earth does. Okay, and this quasi-moon is also a little influenced by the Earth's gravitational pull, and they believe that it is being orbiting Earth since 100 BC. Earlier, the quasi-satellite known was Kamolova, which was discovered in 2016. Iran's first hypersonic missile. So Iran produced its first indigenous hypersonic missile named Fatah, having a target range of up to 1,400 kilometers. Okay, this hypersonic missile refers to that weapon which exceeds the 5 times the speed of the sound. What is the speed of the sound known as Mach? So if it is 5 times exceeds the 5 times of the speed of the sound, that is Mach 5, then it is called as hypersonic. And this is a hypersonic missile flies at a much lower altitude than the conventional ballistic missiles. There are the two types of hypersonic missile weapon systems. First one is hypersonic glide vehicles, which are launched from a rocket. Hypersonic cruise missiles, which are having their self-powered high-speed engines, like for example scramjets. Okay. So advantages of hypersonic weapons, they use only kinetic energy, and long range and the strike rate is also very good. And US, Russia, China also are leading in hypersonic weapon programs. And Australia, India, France, and Germany or Japan are still developing such technology. And as part of the hypersonic development demonstration vehicle program, India successfully launched its Mach 6 scramjet, and hypersonic wind tunnel test facility of the DRDO was also established. See if this is the number. Subsonic, less than the speed of the sound, and transonic means similar to the speed of the sound. Supersonic, it's usually 3 times. That is Mach 3. Mach 3 is supersonic, and Mach 5 is hypersonic. Titanic submersible. Recently, there was a submersible which was submersible which went deep inside the ocean to observe the Titanic wreck. But it was found that the submersible got lost the connection, and it also got exploded. So now the US Navy has started investigating why it has happened like that. So it is found that the explosion caused to the submersible initially lost the contact during the descent, and then due to the high pressure it got exploded. Okay, whereas in implosion, okay, sorry. Actually, what happened is the Titanic submersible got lost contact with the base station while it was descending to the Titanic wreck. Actually, the submersible consisted of the tourists, like you and I. Okay, we can go to the submersible and we can just dive deep. I mean, we can go down in the into the ocean with the help of a submersible, and we can just observe what's the uh, state of the Titanic wreck. Okay, so recently, what happened is due to the implosion, uh, the submersible got destroyed. So, what is this implosion? Implosion is opposite to explosion. What is explosion? When pressure is increased in a contained space, it causes a in a contained space, it causes the energy to be released very violently, causing the explosion outwards. Okay, the pressure builds inside and it explodes outwards. This is called as explosion. Whereas in case of implosion, what happens is the pressure builds over the structure. Okay, until it crushes the and then this structure gets crushed. Okay, this is called as implosion. Next is yeah, Titanic wreck sound. Side. Centralized Laboratory Network, CLN. CLN recently ICMR, National Institute of Virology has joined this centralized laboratory network to test the vaccines. So what is CLN? CLN is part of the Coalition for the Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, and it is at the global level to test vaccines and also make some standardized methods and materials for testing. And it also the CLN members also support the development of the novel vaccines against a future disease X. Disease X means some newly identified pathogen with epidemic pandemic potential. Okay. Next, strategic interventions for a green hydrogen transition program. Strategic in site program. Recently, the guidelines for the implementing of the site program was released by the government, and the site program is a subcomponent of the National Green Hydrogen Mission. So this first of all, let us look into what is National Green Hydrogen Mission. National Green Hydrogen Mission was launched in 2022 to encourage the green hydrogen production, and its other component is a ship which promotes a public-private partnership. So, National Green Hydrogen Mission consists of different components. First one being site, and the other one being ship. So, this ship is for promoting research and development. Okay, and it seeks the targets of the National Green Hydrogen Mission are to produce 5 million tons of green hydrogen by 2030 and to make India a leading producer and supplier of the green hydrogen in the world and creating opportunities for the employment and the economic development and support R&D projects in India. So what is this site program? The site program is to establish the electrolyzer and manufacturer base and green hydrogen producing facilities. So again, National Green Hydrogen Mission consists of both what site program and ship program. Site program is to provide the infrastructure required for the production of the National Green Hydrogen Mission, and the ship is to encourage R&D. So, what is green hydrogen? Green hydrogen is a clean burning fuel with only water and heat as its byproducts. And usually, proton exchange membrane is used for electrolysis. So, State Run Solar Energy Corporation of India is the implementing agency. That's it, lithium ion battery. Recently, a Nobel laureate and co-inventor of the lithium ion batteries, John Bannister Goodenough, passed away. So, he's a Nobel laureate. So, no, he got Nobel Prize in the year 2019 to Goodenough, Whittingham, and Akira Yoshino for the development of the lithium ion batteries. So, What are these lithium ion batteries? Lithium ion batteries uses materials. Lithium ion batteries is a family of the rechargeable batteries. Like even in our phones, we have lithium ion batteries. Lithium ion batteries consist of both positive electrode and negative electrode. Okay, so during charge, sorry, consists of the positive electrode and negative electrode. During the charging, the electrons move from positive to negative electrode, and during discharge, that means while utilizing the device, the discharge happens and the electrons move from negative electrode to positive electrode. And the materials that are commonly used as electrodes in lithium ion batteries are lithium cobalt oxide, lithium manganese oxide, and lithium iron phosphate. So lithium-ion batteries are typically use ether as an electrolyte. Okay, and that's it. Memory effect of the lithium-ion battery. Memory effect is a process where repeated partial discharge or charge cycles can cause a battery to remember the lower capacity. Like if you can remember, if you can recognize, there is a feature called as optimized battery. Optimized battery charging feature in most of the mobile phones these days. It is nothing but the phone remembers the, it means the battery remembers the charge and the capacity, and accordingly it optimizes the charging. So it is something similar to the memory effect. Up UTP U Utprerak, sorry. Utprerak. Utprerak means Unnat Takniki Pradarshan Kendra. I don't understand why they always use these kind of very complex terms. Utprerak, okay. So Utprerak was established by the Ministry of Power as a center of excellence to accelerate adoption of the energy efficient technologies in Indian industry, and it was set up by Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So Utprerak, established by Ministry of Power, that means Bureau of Energy Efficiency is under Ministry of Power. Okay, and why it is to accelerate the adoption of the energy efficient technologies. So uh, under this uh, under this scheme, what the center do is going to do is it is going to implement and support the projects that are energy efficient technologies, and the center is also mandated to become a key reference and resource institution on industrial energy efficient technologies. Chiral um, Chiral Bose liquid. Chiral Bose liquid. I don't know what it is pronounced as, but I pronounce chiral. Okay, because there is a term called as chimeric in chemistry, if you remember. So, chiral Bose liquid. Chiral Bose liquid. Recently, physicists from the US and China have claimed the discovery of the complete new state of the matter called as chiral Bose liquid state. New state of matter. As of now, the states we have known is solid, liquid, gases. Okay, something like this. So, this is a chiral Bose liquid is a new state of matter. So, this in the super small quantum scale by bringing two layers. How they have discovered? They have discovered by bringing two layers of the special material very close to each other at a very low temperatures. So researchers created a frustration machine. Frustration machine is a bilayer semiconducting device created which is designed to create this state of matter. So what is this chiral Bose liquid? Chiral Bose liquid is a state of the matter. Okay, new state of the matter. Uh, and it was recently discovered by this physicists of the United States and China. And how they discovered it, they have by creating a frustration machine, which is to designed to create this state of machine. How they created this state of matter by bringing two layers of the special material at a very low temperatures. So and this machine works, how this machine works, a frustration machine. This machine works by incorporating an electron-rich top layer and a corresponding bottom layer with holes. Okay, so the machine creates a local imbalance, resulting the electronics not having enough holes to fill, and this kicks off the novel state. Okay, the in this quantum states of matter behaves in quite different ways from that of the solid, liquid, and gases. The particle interactions within these states can give rise to infinite possibilities. This new state could provide a pathway for finding more secure and reliable way for to encode digital information. Okay, and the next one, culture section. Chola administration. So, if you remember in part one of this June month current affairs, I have discussed in the very first topic during the discussion of the new parliament building that Sengal was also placed in the new parliament building. So, what is this Sengal? Sengal, or it's also known as scepter, is was presented earlier by the head of the Tiruvadutharai Adhinam to our India's first Prime Minister Nehru. Okay, so what is this Sengal? This Sengal represents the symbol of transfer of power. Okay, so it was given to the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru on August 14th, 1947 to mark the symbol of transfer of power to the government. Okay, uh, so about Tiruvavadutharai Adhinam. Tiruvavadutharai Adhinam was established by Namasivaya Murthy in the 16th century, and this mutt has outstanding scholars in Tamil and Saivat philosophy. This that's it. And about in the Chola Empire, the Sengal was the usage of Sengal was much prevalent during the Chola Empire. It was considered as a symbol of the path of the duty and a path of the service and path of the nation. So, since the Sangam age, the historians suggest that this kind of Sengal has been in utilization. So, about Chola administration. Chola administration consists of king is the most powerful, consists of council of ministers, and also consists of the top authorities known as Peruntaram. And while the inferior officials are known as Siruntaram, and the empire was divided into mandalams or provinces, and then into Valanadus, and then into Nadus. Okay, and Chola administration, local self-administration consists of the two assemblies that are Ur and Sabha. Okay, and Ur was the assembly of the village, whereas the Mahasabha or the Sabha is a gathering of the adult men in the villages, which are called as Agraharas. Villages enjoyed a large measure of autonomy. So this about Uttira mirror inscriptions. Uttira mirror inscriptions dated to the reign of the Parantaka Chola one, and it is Uttira mirror is an ancient Chola village located near Chennai in Tamil Nadu, and this Uttira mirror inscriptions gives us about the election systems of the during the Chola period, and also how the sabhas were organized, and also how the separate committees were present in the Chola administration. Okay, that's it. And okay, the taxes they have Brahmadeya, which were the land grants given to the Brahmanas. Next, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Recently, the celebrations of the 350th anniversary of the coronation of the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj had begun at the Raigad Fort in Maharashtra. So, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj was born at the Shivneri Fort, and he was born in 1627 till 1680. And his mother was Jijabai, and father was Shaji Raja Bonsale. During the time of the Shivaji Maharaj, most of the territory of Maharashtra was under the control of the Nizam Shah of the Ahmednagar and Adil Shah of the Bijapur. Later, Chhatrapati Shivaraj carved out a stable kingdom with a powerful warrior families known as Deshmukhs. And after Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's death, effective power of the Maratha state was wielded by the family of Chitpavan Brahmanas. So about the coronation of the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. On 6th June 1674, Shivaji Maharaj was coronated at Raigad, and then he came to be called as Chhatrapati. Okay, as a symbol of the sovereignty, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj has instituted a new era known as the Shakha. Rajabhisheka Shakha. Okay, special coins were also minted on this occasion, and foundation of the Swaraj. Uh, the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj started the work of founding the Swaraj in the Pune region. Swaraj means founding the independence in the Pune region. Okay. Uh, Administrative structure of the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj administrative structure consists of the Council of State of the Ministers known as Ashtapradhan. They are Peshwa, Mazumdar, Vakinavis, Dabir, Senapati, Nyayadhish, and Panditra. So they are 8 Council of Ministers. Important. Peshwa means Prime Minister. Mazumdar means Accountant. Vakanavis means Intelligence. Post and Household Affairs. Dabir means Foreign Secretary. Senapati means who looks after the army. Nyayadhish and Pandit Rao. Nyayadhish means judge, and Pandit Rao means who is in charge of the charitable grants. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj preferred to give in cash salaries. Sometimes he also gave revenue grants, which are known as Saranjam. Mirasdars. Mirasdars are those with hereditary rights in land. Next, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj also implemented his income of levying taxes, such as taxes are two types. One is called as Chowth and the other is Sardeshmukhi. And military organization comprises of the Mewalis and Hetkaris. Okay, what's important is this forts. Forts. Okay, Chhatrapati Shivaji constructed many forts, constructed around 250 forts. Okay, some of the forts being Suvarnadurg. Uh, he commenced the construction of the Sindhudurg at Malvan. About the same time, he strengthened the fort named Vijayadurg and Padmadurg, right? Raigad Fort, in which his coronation took place. Raigad Fort was situated in Sahyadri mountain ranges, and it's also known as the Gibraltar of the East. And he made this fort as his capital in 1662, and the other fort structure and other structures of this Raigad fort are it consists of an artificial lake known as Gangasagar Lake. Other famous other forts in Raigad district are Kolaba Fort, Su Sudhagad Fort, and Murud Janjira Fort. See this were the Abyssinians who settled in Janjira in the 15th century, and they got Dandarajpuri from Ahmednagar rulers and later acted independently. Siddhis were the Abyssinians. Conflict with Mughals. He had a conflict with Mughals where Aurangzeb appointed Shaista Khan, and later Shivaji Maharaj raided Lal Mahal and successfully attacked Shaista Khan. Later again, Aurangzeb sent Jai Singh of Amber to crush the Shivaji Maharaj, and then he signed a treaty of Purandar between Jai Singh and Shivaji Maharaj. Next, geographical indication tag. Recently, 7 new products from the Uttar Pradesh got GI tag. About GI tag, GI tag is given to the good that originates in a territory of a member or a regional locality in that territory, and it is defined in the TRIPS agreement, and it is registered for a period of 10 years, and after which it can be renewed again. The first product to receive a GI tag was Darjeeling tea in 2004, and some states with maximum number of GI tags are Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, and Kerala. Okay, and legislation in India, legislations to look after the GI recognition are Geographical Indication of Goods Act 1999, Geographical Indication of Goods Act the Rules 2002. And the mechanism are registrar of the geographical indications are Controller General of Patents, Design and Trademarks under DPIIT. It supervises the function of the geographical indications registry, and GIR has an all India jurisdiction. The products recently, 7 products of UP which got GI tag are Amroha Dolak. Amroha Dolak is a musical instrument which is made from the wood of mango, jackfruit, and teakwood, and also some session trees. And later, this instrument is fitted with animal skin, mostly goat skin is used. And Bagpat home furnishings. Bagpat home furnishings, Bagpat are famous for this exclusive handloom home furnishings. Next, Kalpi handmade paper. Kalpi handmade paper was manufactured in an eco-friendly manner, and it uses various types of paper scraps and not wood. So using the paper scraps, it makes handmade paper. Okay, usually paper is manufactured using wood. And natural materials like flower petals, grass, silk waste are also added to obtain different textures, and it is a handmade paper. And Munnalal Khaddari, a Gandhian, introduced this craft in UP. Next, Mahoba Gaura Patthar Hastashilpa. So Hastashilp itself means handicrafts. Okay. So Hastashilp, Shilpa. So related to handmade. So it is a stone craft, and it is a unique and soft stone with scientific name pyroflight stone. Okay, Gaura stone craft is made of radiant white colored stone. So on white colored stone, which is a soft stone, so stone craft is being made. And next, Mainpuri Tarkash. Mainpuri Tarkash is known for it's a brass work. It's a brass work. Okay. Next, Sambhal horn craft. Sambhal horn craft means horns are produced from the dead animals, and then they are crafted completely handmade. Next, Barabanki handloom. Barabanki handloom produces scarves, shawls, and stoles. Okay, and these are named after the Nawab of Lucknow. Sorry, Barabanka is the name of the place, and these were famous during the Nawab's period of the Lucknow. Next related news, Kari Ishad mango. Kari Ishad mango of the Uttara Karnataka also recently got GI tag. So this Ishad mango is grown predominantly in Ankola, and additionally it is also grown in Karwar, and that's it. Ishad mangoes has two varieties, Kari Ishad and Bili Ishad. Kari Ishad has thin skin, more pulp and sweeter. Bili Ishad consists of thick skin, less pulp and also has less sweetness. So these are the Amroha Dolak, Bagpat home furnishings, handmade paper, and Mahoba Gaura Patthar, Mainpuri Tarkash, Sambal Horncraft, Barabanki Handloom, and Kari Ishad Mango. Upanishads. Recently, PM gifted the first edition of the print of the book, the 10 Principal Upanishads. The 10 Principal Upanishads were first the 10 Principal Upanishads. Okay, this was written by an Irish Indian and an Irish scholar. Okay, so this book was translated from Sanskrit and is considered as one of the best translations of the Upanishads. Upanishads are also known as Vedanta. Okay, so Upanishads are dated roughly to the 800 to 500 BC, and they discuss the relationship between the Atman and the Brahman. Atman means individual and Brahman means a universe. Raja Parva. Raja Parva, also known as Mithuna Sankranti, is a 3-day festival celebrated in Odisha. The term Raja has come from the Rajasvala. So during this Raja Parva festival, the women, the women celebrates the womanhood. Okay, it celebrates the womanhood of the mother goddess Earth. It is a menstruating festival. Okay, celebration of the menstruation. Okay, that's it. And it is also it was celebrated during the beginning of the solar month of the Mithuna, and it welcomes the agriculture year of the Odisha. And the fourth day is called as Vasumati Gadhua. Next, Ambubachi Mela. Ambubachi Mela is a 4-day annual fair which is usually held at Kamakya Temple at Nilachal Hills of Guwahati, Assam. So this Ambubachi Mela is celebrated to mark the annual menstruation of the goddess Kamakya. It is taken as an occasion to promote the awareness about menstrual hygiene, and this Kamakya temple is one of the 52 Shakti peeths, and where the yoni of the goddess is being worshipped. So it is also seat of the tantric rituals. Next, Johar rice. Johar rice, recently the scientists explored nutraceutical properties of the rice and detected two unsaturated fatty acids like linoleic acid and linoleic acid and linolenic acid. Okay, linoleic acid is omega-6 fatty acids, linolenic acid is omega-3 fatty acids. So they have discovered these two unsaturated fatty acids in Johar rice. So this Johar rice has more balanced ratio of omega-6 and omega-3 omega-3 properties, and it is Joha varieties has short or medium grained and very low yield potential, and it is having significant aroma and taste, and it is also having good benefits, eating of which have is known to have good benefits like lowering blood glucose, preventing diabetes onset. Menhirs. Menhirs recently, then in Telangana, they have discovered the menhirs. Menhirs are nothing but upright stones from the megalithic period. So they are now seeking to get a UNESCO tag for this menhirs at the Mudumal village in Telangana. So what are these menhirs? Menhirs, according to archaeologists, they say that they might have aligned this. If you remember, I think there is a picture of it. Wait, let me see. So this is a picture. Okay, these are the menhirs. These are the upright structures. So some archaeologists say that they the earlier period people during the megalithic period, they have set up these kind of structures because they align with the sun on a particular days, and thus these structures showed the chart of the movement of the sun, and that it means they used this as a clocks, and these as clocks and calendars based on the shadows. Next, about menhirs in Mudumal, it is one of the Southeast Asia's largest cluster of menhirs, and these are called as Niluvuralu in local language in Telugu, and these are accompanied by nearly 3,000 alignment stones. Next, Homo naledi. Homo naledi, there is a new evidence suggesting that Homo naledi, which is an extinct human species, might have buried their dead and carved meaningful symbols in a cave. The burials are older than any known Homo sapiens burials by at least 1 lakh years. Features of the Homo naledi: they walked fully upright, shoulders were built for climbing, and they also have teeth that shaped like old primates, and the brain size was just 1/3 of the size of the modern humans. Okay, humankind's earliest ancestors are some of these. So this Homo naledi means extinct human species, and the study suggests that they have buried and they carved some meaningful symbols in a cave. Okay, that's it. And they have the brain size less than the modern human, and that is nearly 1/3, and the shoulders and the teeth, and then they walked fully upright. Press Information Bureau (PIB). So PIB marked its centennial anniversary. So PIB headquarters are at New Delhi, and it is a nodal agency of government, which is print and electronic media, and it is set up as a temporary cell in 1919, and it was later made permanent as a Bureau of Public Information, and then it initially was set up as a temporary cell in 1919, and then as made as a permanent and named as Bureau of Public Information, BPI, and then later named as PIB in the 1946, and it became as a department of the under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, and it consists of the principal director general, and who is assisted by the director general and 8 additional director generals. Functions activities can be broadly classified into 3 categories: information, education and communication, and feedback and accreditation and special services. Jatan. Jatan is a virtual museum. Jatan is a virtual museum builder. So it is a digital collection of the management systems of the Indian Museum, and it was developed by the CIRAC of the Pune, and CIRAC is a premier research and development institute organization uh, in under Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, and it was established in 1988. And this Jatan provides a complete 3D digitization of the museums, all museums in India. So this provides conservation of the artifacts, and Ministry of Culture in India, Ministry of Culture has 10 museums under it control, and Archaeological Survey also has museums at 44 locations under its control. So the partners of this Jatan initiative are there is an MOU between Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and Ministry of Culture. Gandhi Peace Prize. Peace Prize for 2021 was conferred to the Geeta Press of Gorakhpur. So this Gandhi Peace Prize is given usually annually. In first started in 1995, and next 1995, on the occasion of the 125th birth anniversary of the Mahatma Gandhi. The award is open to in 1995, on occasion of the 125th birth anniversary. It was started, and it is open to all persons, regardless of the all persons of the India, and it consists of a cash prize of 1 crore and a citation. And past award is some of the important past awardees are ISRO and Ramakrishna Mission. Now recently given to Geeta Press of Gorakhpur. Sahitya Academy Award. Ministry of Culture intends to change the nomination process for Sahitya Academy Award. Sahitya Academy Award is a literary honor which is conferred annually. Sahitya Academy Award is a literary honor conferred annually on writers of most outstanding books, and besides outstanding books made in major Indian languages, which include 22 languages mentioned in the 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution, plus English and Rajasthani languages also. And it consists of a cash prize of 1 lakh and also a copper plaque and shop. And Sahitya Academy is a autonomous organization registered under Society Registration Act of 1860. Diamond League. Indian long jumper Murali Sri Shankar secured a third place in Paris Diamond League. Diamond League is a series of the top tier track and field competitions organized by the World Athletics. World Athletics is an international governing body for athletics. So recently, Murali Sri Shankar, third place in Paris Diamond League, which is conducted annually by World Athletics, which is an international governing body. That's it. Next, ICC World Test Championship. In ICC World Test Championship, Australia beats India and wins the title. And World Test Championship comprises the top 9 test teams. And the top teams competed in the final rather than each series being worth the same number of the points. Uh, okay, that's it. And next one is ethics. This section is not much important for the prelims point of view. And then schemes in news. Smart Cities Mission. Smart Cities Mission. Recently, the government of India has decided to extend the Smart Cities Mission deadline by 1 year from June 2023 to June 2024. So, objectives of the Smart City Mission is to provide core infrastructure, clean and sustainable environment, and providing smart solutions, and to drive the economic growth and also improve the quality of the life, all those things. And the mission is a centrally sponsored scheme introduced in 2015, and initially it was till June 2023 only, but now it was extended till June 2024, and under the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. And some of the features are creating walkable localities, preserving local open spaces, and promoting variety of transport operations, and promoting mixed land use area developments, and giving an identity to the city, and applying smart solutions. And mission will cover 100 cities. Okay, this is important. And it also consists of the special purpose vehicle created for the implementation of this mission. And the funding of this mission, the financial support is given by the union government to the extent of 48,000 crores for over 5 years, like with an average of 100 crores per city per year. Okay, 48,000 crores for 5 years, 100 crores per city per year. Okay, the 6 fundamental principles of the smart city. So, what is a smart city? Okay, you can just go through this. Uh, the emphasis has been given on the participation of the private sector through PPP, public-private partnerships, and there is no standard definition or template for the smart city. Okay, and integrated command and control centers have been operationalized in nearly all the 100 smart cities, and the integrated command and control centers are playing an important role in ensuring better monitoring and efficiency in areas like traffic management, solid waste management, and water distribution management. And integrated command and control centers have been established. Okay, that's it. And some of the key data and facts, like it's better to remember these things. SDG 1, no poverty. SDG 2, zero hunger. SDG 3, good health and well-being. And SDG 4 quality education, 5 gender equality, 6 clean water and sanitation, and 7 affordable and clean energy. This we have studied recently just now in the SNT section. And SDG 8, this one also we have studied in social issues section. And SDG 8 for decent work and economic growth. SDG 9 industry, innovation and infrastructure. SDG 10 reduced inequalities. SDG 11 sustainable cities and communities. SDG 12 responsible consumption and production. 13 climate action. 14 life below water. 15 life on land. 16 peace, justice and strong institutions. And 17 partnerships for goals. So places in news. Okay, let's go from this side. Okay. In Cuba, US confirmed that China had a spy base in Cuba since 2019. Okay, Belize certified as a malaria free by WHO. Okay, Belize certified as a malaria free by WHO. Next, Suriname 150th anniversary of the arrival of the Indians. Okay, next Senegal. There are some clashes in Senegal. Okay, actually these type of questions are also important because again in 2023 prelims 2023 prelims, what they asked in one of the question they have asked uh, which of the following statements are correct, and in the statements that they have given that so and so coups have taken place in this country or not, so those kinds of things. So it's better to know what happened in which country, just to have a brief idea. That's it. So this Senegal clashes took place, and in Serbia, first visit by an Indian president. Okay, Serbia. Next, Mali, UN mission backs constitutional referendum. Next, Nigeria, swearing-in ceremony of the president. And Comoros, INS Trishul visited Port Anjon, Comoros. Okay, for the refueling, like if you remember the concept of port of call. Okay, next, Belarus, Russia plans to deploy nuclear weapons. Next, Iran, Belarus supports or is inclined towards the Russia. Next, Iran. Iran embassy in Riyadh is set to open, and Iran unveils its a first hypersonic missile. What is the name of the missile? Fatah. Just now we have studied in security section. Okay. Next, Pakistan. China inked agreement to set up a nuclear power plant at Chashma in Mian Wali district. This is also important. Next, Oman. India's national security advisor visited the port of Duqm. So this port of Duqm is in which country? Oman. Next, Indonesia. Anak Krakatau volcano erupted, and in Fiji, reconsidering security ties with China. Places in news in India. Places in news in India. Mahakaleshwar temple in Madhya Pradesh. PM of Nepal offered prayers to Mahakaleshwar temple in Ujjain. PM of Nepal recently visited to our India, and during his visit, there were different types of MOEs were taken place. If you want to know about all those things in detail, please watch my part 1 video of the June month current affairs. Next, UHL Ul River of the Himachal Pradesh, Shannon Power Project. Okay. Next, there is a dispute between Himachal Pradesh and Punjab. Next, Siri Fort is in Delhi, and next, Kirki Mosque is also in Delhi. Next, Lothal Maritime Heritage Complex is the government is going to develop Maritime Heritage Complex. Lothal is in Gujarat. Raigad Fort in Maharashtra, like just now we have read 350th anniversary of the coronation of the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Cochin Port in Kerala. Central rolled out the renovation. Okay, Cochin Port is going to be renovated. Next, Tiruvavadurai Mutt. Again, just now we have studied Sengor. Okay, presented by the head of the Tiruvavadurai Mutt to the first Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru. Next, Orvakallu village, it is present in Andhra Pradesh, and Mesolithic era painting was discovered, and Golconda Fort of Telangana. Ministry of Culture celebrated the Telangana Formation Day at Golconda Fort, and Jagannath Temple, Puri Jagannath Rath Yatra, Sundargarh Forest Division, proposal to clear declare a natural arch in Kanika range of the Sundargarh Forest division as a geoheritage sites. Geoheritage sites. Okay, this is also important. So there is a proposal to declare this natural arch, which is present in the Kanika range of the Sundargarh Forest as geoheritage site. Next, Kamakya Temple, Ambubachi Mela. And then left with the personalities in news. Okay, Rani Durgavati. Rani Durgavati, she belonged to the Mahobas Chandela dynasty, and married Dalpat Shah from Gond kingdom of the Garha Katanga. She Rani Durgavati Gaurav Yatra was launched in Madhya Pradesh. So it's better just to know what is the thing in news. Enough. Okay. She constructed reservoirs and she married Gond king Dalpat Shah. That's it. And she was defeated by the Mughal governor. These are the important things. Next, Ahilyabai Holkar. Maharashtra government has decided to rename Ahmednagar district as Ahilyanagar. So Ahilyabai Holkar was a Malwa queen, and next she excelled at administrative military strategies. City of Maheshwar became a literary, music, and artistic and industrial center. Next, she also restored many temples. Savitribai Jyotirao Phule, social reformer, educationist, and activist. And next, education against child widow marriage and all those things. And she started Mahila Seva Mandal and Bal Hatya Pratibandhak Griha. And she is associated with the Satya Shodhak Samaj formed by the Jyotirao Phule. Next, Prashant Chandra Mahalanobis. Chandra Mahalanobis was he is often referred to as the father of the Indian statistics. And during his birthday, National Statistics Day was celebrated. Is celebrated every year on June 29th. Next, he is one of the members of the first planning commission. Like, if you remember, the first planning was also named as based on a Mahalanobis model. Not first, second 5-year plan based on Mahalanobis model. Next, the PM recently paid tribute to the Birsa Munda on his 123rd death anniversary. Birsa Munda, Munda tribe of Chota Nagpur region, and he converted to Christianity, and he started a faith called Birsait, and he also started the Ulgulan movement of 1899. He refused to follow the colonial rules, and he came to be known as Bhagwan and Dharti Abba, for father of the earth. Next, Swami Sahajanand Saraswati. He was born in Ghazipur, and he organized farmers and infused a consciousness in the freedom movement. And All India Kisan Sabha, he was elected as the first president. Next, he organized Bakasht movement in Bihar, and this movement led to the enactment of the Bihar Tenancy Act. He also, Swami Sahajanand Saraswati, first president of the, few things are important, first president of the All India Kisan Sabha, Bakasht movement, led to Bihar Tenancy Act, and he also led to the successful struggle of the Dalmia sugar mill. Next, Shankar Triambak Dharmadhikari. Shankar Triambak Dharmadhikari, also known as Dada Dharmadhikari, he was an Indian freedom fighter. He was an Indian freedom fighter and Gandhian thinker, and he participated in non-cooperation movement and Quit India movement. He is an active member of the Gandhi Seva Sangh, and he also participated in the Bhutan movement. And Harry Markowitz. Harry Markowitz was the father of the modern portfolio theory who passed away. What is this modern portfolio theory? It is a practical method of selecting investments in order to maximize their overall returns. So he got the Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences along with Merton M. Hiller and William F. Sharpe. And Markowitz also did groundbreaking work in mathematical programming and computer simulations. He developed a SimScript. Okay, he developed a SimScript, which is a language used to write simulations software. Okay, so that's it with this June month current affairs, and I hope you liked it. And please do like, subscribe, and share my channel. Okay, thank you.